6:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Tough injury news in Kansas City as the Chiefs head coach Andy Reid told reporters that star tight end Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee at practice yesterday, and his status for Thursday night is uncertain. Chiefs believe his ACL is intact, and they're going to test again today. But for now, he's questionable for the game on Thursday. And the Chiefs stand to be potentially down 2 stars on both sides of the ball as contract discussions with defensive lineman Chris Jones have come to a standstill. In Arizona, head coach John Gannon has been coy about who's going to start versus the Commanders on Sunday. Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing wouldn't divulge whether or not they will give Joshua Dobbs or Clayton Tune most of the reps with the first team offense going into week 1. Here's offensive coordinator Drew Petzing.
Yeah, I think we have a plan in place in terms of how we want to handle that. Certainly we're not going to be completely forward with that in the media, but I think it's something that we certainly have talked through and are prepared for, and I think everybody's ready to go.
You have to watch to find out. And Jonathan Taylor's absence for the start of the 23 season thrust the Indianapolis Colts backfield from a one-man show to a group effort. Head coach Shane Steichen said they're going to divvy up the workload between Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, and rookie Evan Hull, playing the proverbial hot hand approach. This was Steichen on Monday. I think it's a running back by committee. Whoever's got the hot hand, we're going to let him ride a little bit. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Wednesday, another day closer to Tennessee Titans regular season football. A rainy Wednesday morning, but we're having a good one right here on RKW. We're powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. We've got Ramon Foster, we've got Kayla Anderson, and behind the glass, making the show happen, he is the one and only Robert Walsh. My name is Will Bowling. You can call in at 615-737-1045. You can watch the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on the F&M Bank chat. How we doing, everybody? Good morning.
We're good. It's a Wednesday morning. It's raining, but guess what? We can't let it affect us. Not even a little bit, Will.
Yeah, it's cool out there. Condensation. That was the word of this morning.
Word of this morning, a little condensation. I'm here for it. I think this look cool. Hopefully, I hadn't looked at my weather app yet. This little rain is going to be the cool down for the rest of the month.
I'm cool with that.
That was the hope.
Is it the hope? I'm opening up my weather app here. Should have did
Chief Meteorologist Ramon Aloysius Foster.
Pulling up
presiding.
the old Apple Weather app, and it shows right now raining in Nashville, 71 degrees. The rest of the week will be a breeze.
That's what it says?
Tomorrow, high of 83 as I continue to rhyme like it's time to start the show. I promise you, the rest of the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the high will be 86. Next Wednesday, Will! Kayla!
Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday! High of 79, y'all.
Oh, we're getting in the 70s.
I wouldn't celebrate a ton over that.
No, Will.
I thought you were going to say like 60s.
I was thinking that too.
Well, look at that. Look at the meteor, though. Look at the meter.
The meteor?
Yeah, not the meteor, please.
Flying through the sky?
Wow.
Meteor showers.
I hardly know her.
You know what? I heard last week we had the blue moon, right?
Yeah.
I used to
Supermoon.
hear my mom say all the time, once every blue moon it'll happen.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now I realize I get it. We won't get it again in 2037 or
There you
whatever.
go.
Yeah, once every blue moon. I was like, look at her, man.
Look
She
at that.
get it.
She's as smart as lady as you thought, you know?
She was, man. But yeah, this rain right here is gonna take us into the fall spirit. Will, Kayla, what y'all?
I got my boots on, so
Boots are made
got
for
my
walking.
short boots.
There's Chief Meteorologist Ramon Foster on your home for
Yeah.
Titans and the Vols, 104.5 The Zone.
Can I add that to my resume?
You got to go to school for that.
Chief Meteorologist Ramon Foster.
I'm trying.
My weather folks out there would not be happy with you.
I know they would, not even a little bit.
They'd
Especially
be like, Ramon,
leaving.
you got to go to Mississippi State.
State,
Gotta
yeah.
go get your meteorology degree.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pass on that one. I'm still debating if I want to go back to school.
Yeah.
Are you really?
I am. I am. I always said I would. I always said I would to get my master's. My brother
How much
Renardo got
time would it
his.
take?
Depending on whatever program I get into.
They depend on how much school you want to take while you work.
Yeah.
So you can spread that over like 3 years, or you can do it over 1.
My brother did over 1.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Wow.
It is a lot of work. I might need, maybe 3 semesters?
Okay.
What do you
We
think?
can
3
do that.
semesters might be do it?
Mhm.
I'm thinking about
Not
it.
bad.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
You are a football guy, that is.
I got my shirt on
You can do
today.
it. Yeah, I know.
I wore it in spirit of today is football's eve for the
It is.
NFL.
I literally went to bed last night. I've got a buddy staying with me from college, and I was like, "It's football eve tomorrow when we wake up."
Yeah.
It's great.
It is, and I figured I'd act like it without actually saying it. Is that okay?
Sure.
Is that cool?
But I said it for you.
You
That
did
at
say it
least
for me.
Gave some, of the listeners an idea of what you were
Yeah.
wearing today because you were that excited.
And what's crazy about me wearing this sweatshirt today, I was just getting on to my young, and not getting on to him. I was like, you really becoming one of those kids too? Yesterday, walks out of the house with a friggin' hoodie on.
Yep.
I'm like, that's the thing, huh?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Well, there are a lot of classrooms that are like 60 degrees at schools.
Mhm.
Our teachers just make us deal with it, Will.
Those are the best for
That-
us. Instead of having to wear specific dress code,
Yeah.
you could counteract that by just wearing a hoodie instead of having to wear a collared shirt.
Yeah.
It was great.
Always a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Always a loophole. By the way, man, I messed around and this is older man stuff. Shave my nose hairs. I breathe so much easier right now, y'all. So if y'all hear me with more oxygen and talking more clearly today, it's because we manicured,
What in
okay?
the world?
You just said
Shave my
messed
nose hair.
around, though. So
Yeah.
you meant to, but
No,
you meant to clip them off,
I
right?
meant to. I just actually went through with
Okay.
it, Kayla. Yeah, I'm breathing so clear
Yeah,
right
on
now,
purpose.
man. I did it on
a good
purpose.
follow-up question.
That was Big J journalism right
Oh,
there,
my
man.
goodness.
I never thought I ain't gonna say I never thought I'd get to this point, but this is the actual thing. Like every 2.5, 3 months, I'll have to do it.
How do you do it with the?
I got some specialized clippers,
Okay.
yeah, that don't nick or don't cut. It's
Oof.
pretty legit.
Maybe I need to do that.
You just covered a lot of topics there
I
in about
did.
the last 5 minutes.
I told you,
It's good.
The
Ramon's
gas,
random 5.
gas from the doggone break room has jumped on me. That's all it is.
It's good.
And I'm excited, man. I figured, and you know what? Another thing too, I told you, I see people at the park all the time. It's like, man, how do you guys have all this energy? I'm like, that's our job, man.
Yeah.
We can't bring you down with us just because we having a so-so morning.
Those are our hours.
Yeah,
We wake up sometimes before our voices do, but that's okay.
that's
True.
fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That right there
We'll
is
sound
fair.
different at 8 a.m. than we do 6 a.m., but we can't really control that.
No, we can't really control that. Hold on,
Yeah.
man. We out here just doing the thing.
You'd never know that one of us had a bad morning this morning.
You can't
None
know.
of us.
Can't know, Kayla.
Who's to say who it was? 615-737-1045. If you wanted to jump in on the discussion this morning, we've got a new AP poll with Tennessee moving up in the top 25. We've got Clemson and LSU dropping back pretty substantially. We'll get to that coming up later on this morning. A big conversation on Derrick Henry coming up in hour number 2. And I think one that is interesting because you think about the ideal formula for the Titans to be successful this season. We'll essentially ask you how much that has to do with Derrick Henry. Are the Titans at their best if Derrick Henry sets a little bit of history this season for the Tennessee Titans? We'll get to that coming up later in the show. We've got Scout Meeting Wednesday coming up in 10 minutes, and you're not that guy at 8:20. Meanwhile, Wednesday also always means Rhett Bryan, who will join us at 9 o'clock. Busy morning.
Yeah, it is. Looking forward to seeing what an in-season Rhett is going to be like.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He came in yesterday saying he's on tilt.
He's geeked already, Kayla.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, it's like that, man. That first week, man, is exciting for everybody. Which one do you get more excited for? NFL kickoff or NFL or college?
Because I'm so used to now, I cover NFL so much closer now
Okay.
than I do. Obviously, Vanderbilt's in town, but we don't get over there as often because when you got a pro team in town, that's what you cover. So
Yeah.
I think NFL for me at this point in my career. But that doesn't go to say that I don't love covering college football.
Okay, yeah. I think I get up for college as it stands that week of. I get it. I go real fan mode.
Sure.
NFL, I think your emotions are pulled a little bit more.
Well, definitely just college, considering I did go to Tennessee. So according to the
Right.
internet, I hate the Titans.
That's right. Forgot about that.
It's been a big conversation on Twitter the past few days.
Yeah.
Begun by Charlie Burris of A to Z Sports. We don't have the time in this segment to get to it, but essentially a big conversation that there is a feud between Vols and Titans fans. And speaking from someone who went to Tennessee and has been a lifelong Titans fan, I can tell you that correlation simply does not exist. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It might for some, but that's okay. There are still a lot of Colts and Cowboys fans in East Tennessee. Cowboys because it's a rural area and rural people like the Cowboys, and B, the Colts because of Peyton Manning. But those people don't exist as much as they used to.
Yeah. Believe me, it's not like this in any town that has a pro team and college teams. There's no trying to say, hey, we got to coddle the college team or we got to draft their, like, that's not a thing. This is a business.
Well, in Knoxville, too, you're the same amount of distance away from the Falcons and the Panthers. That's the thing I think that goes under the radar with that, is you're around like 3 NFL teams within a 3-hour drive, and the Titans are one of those 3-hour drives. The Titans aren't really the closest team. The Falcons probably are to Knoxville.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just an interesting conversation on social media, but clearly I just hate the Titans since I went to Tennessee. That's what the internet would lead you to believe.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what
I'm
you're
being
recording
sarcastic, everyone, in case you couldn't tell. 615-737-1045, the number. Coming up, a deep dive into the New Orleans Saints, who are coming off of their first losing season since 2016 and their first double-digit loss campaign since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. We dive into what you should expect from the New Orleans Saints, how the Titans do or don't match up well against the New Orleans Saints. Coming up next, right here on RKW. Hey, it's Will Bowling here for my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center, who understands choosing a hearing care provider is a big decision. Their number one priority is delivering exceptional patient care. And Brentwood Hearing Center staff combines many years of experience in hearing health care. They're well trained on a variety of services, ranging from evaluations to treatment, and they believe great care includes establishing great relationships with their patients. You need to give them a call today at 615-377-0420 if you're turning the volume up to uncomfortable levels for other people in the room, or maybe you're just asking people to repeat themselves when you're hanging out in crowded environments. Well, treating hearing loss is an ongoing process. It requires regular follow-ups, maintenance, and cleanings. Brentwood Hearing Center staff is there to help you every step of the way in your hearing journey. Over 30 years, one home. Online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. You can call them at 615-377-0420. Proudly serving Brentwood from the same location for more than 30 years. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Wednesday morning continues at RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is our number as we dive into the Titans and Saints. By the way, we gave the shout out to Charlie Burris of A to Z Sports. The Big Orange podcast is a great one on the A to Z Sports podcast network. Those guys do a great job, and I'm mostly just giving Charlie a hard time.
As you should.
For an opinion that a lot of people share with him. But, I certainly disagree with. But a lot of people that have that opinion, and that's okay.
If you can't get joked at the lunch table, then how cool are you?
Well, I mean, Charlie's fine with that. Charlie's got thick skin, but he's been fighting back quite a bit.
I mean, look, if we gonna fight this thing, we might as well fight it out. You feel me?
We talked about it all Monday.
Yeah, that's all good. It's cool. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm a little late to the party on that, but
No, I mean, it's been a topic all week.
It has been. But you know what? Beauty's in the eye of your alumnus. Or your alumni.
I do think
dropped it out.
there should be a goal for the Titans to create the kind of atmosphere Tennessee fans did in Nissan Stadium on Saturday regularly.
Okay.
And there's a difference in this city between, I think, the kind of fandom NFL teams have versus college teams, because you can't go to school at an NFL team. You obviously go to school at Tennessee. It's just different. I think comparing apples and oranges is a fair conversation, and it's probably a bigger topic for us as the season goes on about how do the Titans recreate more of a college-like atmosphere, or do they even care to? Because they used to have one. Those cold blue games back in the day when Peyton would come to town on Monday Night Football, that was a college football kind of noise and atmosphere. But at the same time, guys, I mean, the Titans averaged a little over 68,000 fans per game last season.
Right.
It's not like they're wanting for fans to go to the game. They were about, 95% capacity on average last season?
Yeah.
And you had a 10-degree game mixed in there outdoors, so probably would have averaged closer to 69,000 had there not been a literal 5-degree game in Nissan Stadium. So I don't know. I see both sides. I certainly side with the Titans' perspective. The Titans don't owe the Vols anything, while realizing that there are a bunch of people in East Tennessee who don't really care for the Titans, but also go the extra mile to cheer against them. So anyway, there's my soapbox on that, because I hadn't had the opportunity to really discuss that.
I got one pushback on that. Two. One, it's just different. College experience is different from NFL experience in stadium. And I got one pushback, and this is the only pushback I have on this one. Well, it's multiple ones, but this one mainly. Do you think Big Jeff is going to embrace the Tennessee Vols so that the Titans can appease Vols Nation?
No.
Go ask him to do it. Hey, Jeff, you should appease to the Tennessee Vols so you guys can be more like them on game day. Think about that.
Yeah, I don't think the complaint's with players, but your point is valid. Yeah.
They come from all conferences, all teams.
It's never an expectation.
The complaint from fans, and the point Charlie was making, is more from the organizational perspective, which I still don't agree with. But there is some kind of shift that needs to happen. And I think the Titans, I mean, honestly, the way you do that? You win football games.
That's
the reason why Tennessee sold out Nissan Stadium. They won 11 games last year. Mm-hmm. Simple.
Facts.
So winning heals all. That's for sure.
Yes, it does.
And speaking of winning, the Titans had the chance to do that for the first time this weekend. It is time for the first regular season Scout Meeting Wednesday of 2023.
Yeah. We got the first regular season Scout Meeting Wednesday, and it gets real. This isn't any fluff. And yes, I am here to actually, tick you off just a smidge, because the Saints will be the best team you face every week. The team will be the best team you face. And because of that, we must break these people down as much as we possibly can. A lot of notes here. I'm going to scathe over a good bit of them and let you guys know how you feel and what to look forward to, okay? Saints, New Orleans. 3 or 4 teams in the division last year went 7-10. on the regular season with Tampa going 8-9 and actually winning the division. This division is right for the picking. Technically, 3 new quarterbacks in their division also with what's happening in Tampa. I mean, if it's going to be Baker or whoever's going to be at the quarterback position. Right now, what I'm saying is this, they will compete. So expect for them to compete this year, no matter what their situation was last year. Most glaring matter for this team is they are without Alvin Kamara. Kamara.
Like the car with it's what is it, the way Mater said it in Cars, like tomato without the tuh. It's like Camara.
Yeah.
Like Camaro without the O.
No doubt about it. And I'll say that with them being without Kamara, sometimes it's good to be lucky. Just simply put, you ain't got to face that demon, okay? Offensively, they just averaged 19.4 points per game last year. Very subpar offense. 1 year being removed from Sean Payton. Last year's quarterback, to their discredit, I guess, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill. Expect Taysom Hill to play a quarterback tight end role for this team at all times. He is a gadget dude. Let's start with the quarterback in general. Derek Carr, last year, came to the team in March after being released. 4-year deal, 2022 Pro Bowler. 2022 was also his worst completion percentage, too. He threw just 60.8% on 502 attempts. 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Has the ability to use his legs, too. He's a complex quarterback. He can be a winner depending on the momentum of the game. What it really boils down with his momentum is a running game. They do and will have one, okay? They ended up signing free agent Jamal Williams from the Detroit Lions, the very eccentric running back. I'm sure you've all seen him with his antics on TV and stuff like that. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Clinton Portis.
A little bit, yep.
A little bit of Clinton Portis. Hard runner, can be a bruiser, has good vision within tight spaces too. What I've seen from him on film is this. He's their closer when they get to the tight red zone. He runs hard. I don't know his measurables, but he looked like a heavy body guy. Like when you hit him, he's looking to bruise you, which is ripe for the picking if you're going against the Titans defense. Last year, 1,066 yards, and this is where I tell you he's the red zone finisher, 17 touchdowns. 17 touchdowns.
Dang.
Led the NFL.
All right.
That is a lot. They also have backup Kendre Miller from TCU. Frog. They got a little embarrassed this weekend.
Sure did.
But with that being said, he's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue. Expect him to be there. Or, again, I will mention Taysom Hill being that gadget for them. Wide receivers, a plethora of them. Michael Thomas, back this year.
Which one?
I know. That's
the
right.
one
The
they
DB.
started his career like that? Or no, I was just saying just in general. Like,
yeah.
he's been just so injured and beat up.
Yes. Last time he played, though, he was crushing it before the injuries. I actually thought something was going on. He was trying to get traded. He had some surgery issues he disclosed this week. Body rejected hardware that was put inside of his foot and ankle. So expect him to be back. He actually had valid situations while he was there. Chris Olave, Ohio State alum. Going into his second year. Last year, Michael Thomas being out forced him to be number 1. 1,042 yards and 4 touchdowns. Considered to be for a 4.39 at the combine. Secondary will be tested. Another guy, and I'll just throw some other names out there. A.T. Perry, kid out of Wake Forest. Big body guy. Ran a 4.4. You like him?
I do.
Broke a lot of records in the ACC. Rashid Love, one of the best names in football. Add him to the all names list. Rashid Shaheed.
Woo.
Now wears number 22. I think he was 82 last year. He's a kick returner, speedy guy, undrafted guy out of Weber State.
Yeah, Weber State. Yeah.
Weber State. But again, a lot of this young wide receiver group had to grow up because Michael Thomas was out last year. You can expect to see a lot out of him. This one right here is very unique to me. They do have Jimmy Graham as a tight end on this roster. But I don't know what his role is going to be. Again, Taysom Hill is also / tight end, too. Y'all can jump in whenever you need to, by the way.
Real quick on the Jimmy Graham thing. Is he back from the incident, and is he cleared to play and everything? I just hadn't seen an update on that.
Think so.
Okay.
Whatever it was, they shushed it real fast, it
Okay.
seems like. This is unique right here. Saints starting tight end is former Penn State, Oregon wide receiver, Jawan Johnson.
Yep.
He switched to tight end after his first or second year. And with that, they are expecting a breakout season for him this year. Last year, he had 42 receptions, 508 yards, 7 touchdowns. If Chig had that, I think we all be excited here, right?
Sure.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But what you're getting from him is he's a 4.5 guy at the combine, has hands like a wide receiver. I don't know what his physicality is going to be like. All in all, I think they have some good weapons offensively that you have to keep your eyes on. And I'll even say this, as far as Juwan Johnson goes at tight end, these linebackers and coverage will have their hands full considering he's a former wide receiver that got bigger. I think he sits at like 6'4", 230, 240 now.
Yeah, that's a big dude.
Yeah, big dude. O-line, experienced and athletic. One blip on her offensive line to me will be the left tackle, Trevor Penning. If I'm Jeff, if I'm anybody, I'm trying to agitate him because he's going to get me a penalty.
Got his first start at left tackle in the final game of his rookie season. Trevor Penning, the rookie out of Northern Iowa last season. From left to right on the offensive line. I feel like Mike Keats saying that. Trevor Penning, Andrew Speed, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, former first-round pick, and Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle. Pro Football Focus ranks them around the middle of the league.
Okay.
On the offensive line.
Sure.
They got 4 first-round picks on the offensive line. Nobody is less than a second-round pick that's starting on their offensive line.
Yeah. So, again, experience and talent is what you get out of this group, man. And I hit a midway point with this group right here just to discuss this fellow right here. Punter, Lou Headley. The 30-year-old made the team from Miami. Australian, Aussie kicks in the NFL, too. Rhett came in yesterday speaking about him, made me go watch his tape, too. Very eccentric dude, but he is a field flipper.
Yeah.
That's where you have to play the game this week. The Titans also have that with Ron Stonehouse, too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like. He has the ability to not only directionally kick it, but also back you up and pin you on the sidelines, too. So winning the yards game is going to be huge for this Titans team. Whoever the kick return is going to be this week must have their stuff together when you playing against a guy like him that does the Aussie kick well.
And that's a little bit concerning in terms of, for me at least, for the Titans, is because you think it's going to be Kearis Jackson maybe for punt returns. I know that Tajay Spears is listed as kick returner.
Going back home.
But yeah, so you look at that and maybe think, okay, is it Tajay's job? This is going to be interesting, but the only thing I worry about is the returners are all young and inexperienced, and this is their first NFL game. And you're talking about this rugby punter that they've got who can flip the field.
Yes.
Like they have got, special teams has got to be solid.
That's something coming out of preseason we all are looking forward to. Kicker and all, right?
I would agree.
Offense, sum up. Y'all good there?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Defense, as solid as it get, 48 sacks last year, has a name or Pro Bowler or All-Pro at every level of this defense.
Yep.
Simply put, this defense is stingy. The defense makes its money stopping the passing game, too, by the way. Now, I know what you said. Well, good for us. We run the ball well here in Nashville. You're 100% correct. They give up 4.5 yards a carry. But I got to name these 3. Again, they have a Pro Bowler, All-Pro at every level of this defense. Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, one of the best at their position, all the NFL. All 3 have an argument for Hall of Fame right now. Is that fair?
It's fair.
Cam Jordan is just old, and he's not what he was.
Yeah, no, he's not, but he's a agitator and a headache to deal with. That's just what he is.
Of course,
He
right?
still had
He-
8.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's the name, and he's 34 years old. His pass rush grade, according to Pro Football Focus last year, was ranked 103rd out of 115 edge rushers.
Yeah.
That defensive line by Pro Football Focus, ranked as a group, is ranked as the number 29 defensive line in the NFL.
And they're also having to replace Shai Tuttle, who went to the Carolina Panthers, and David Onyemata, who went to the Falcons.
And Davenport, who also went to the Vikings.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep, Davenport went to the Vikings.
The guy that's interesting to me, Ramon, is Carl Granderson, who had the number 2 run defense grade among edge rushers in the NFL last season and added 5.5 sacks. A young guy that is kind of the next guy up in the defensive line for New Orleans.
From Wyoming and is growing up slightly too. They expect a whole lot more out of him. He's one of those rangy, long body D linemen that can stop the run but also get after the quarterback. One of those ones, if you're leaning, he's just going to grab your quarterback because that's just how he is. And behind him too is Peyton Turner, last year's first-round draft pick out of Houston. They grabbed him later in the first round of the draft, and I remember him actually crushing it at Houston too. So they got some young, youthful guys that's right behind Cam Jordan. Linebackers are athletes and good in space. I put in here, I don't think they're physical against the run. I know Demario Davis is at times, but Pete Warner, Demario Davis, and first-time starter Zach Bond will have their hands full. I think they're good side to side, but I don't look at those dudes as thumpers as far as trying to come down and play the game. Now, again, in New Orleans, if you've ever been there, that crowd gets going.
Oh, it's rowdy.
And they kind of feed off of that a little bit. Back into this defense, Marshawn Lattimore is back from his injury this year. He is him. I think it's okay to say that. Along with Paulson Adebo, the former third-round pick out of Stanford, was forced to grow up last year, too. This group had a lot of that last year, along with Alontae Taylor, who I expect to be playing in the slot some. But Alontae had a good year last year, but guess what? Marshawn Lattimore is back.
He is.
I would say the linebackers are the strength of the defense. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'll give you that. Athletically and leadership, yes, and play, yeah, I'll give you that.
Ranked fourth in Pro Football Focus's linebacker unit rankings in the NFL. So PFF says that the Saints have the fourth best linebacker group in the league. And any group with Demario Davis in it is going to be in the top 5 to 10.
Top linebackers in the league, Demario Davis and Fred Warner.
Yeah,
San Francisco?
Fred's, yeah.
I'd say Fred 1 and probably Demario 2 with maybe Levante David in there at 3, with Bobby Wagner there too.
Still Bobby.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bobby back
sure.
up there.
But also safety. Marcus May and Honey Badger, two solid back ends. And Brian Breesy also is on this D-line, first rounder out of Clemson. Apparently, Brzee, my bad about that. Brian Brzee. He had a very solid preseason, but that's just preseason. What his reps look like on that D-line, just got to acknowledge that they will have some guys ready to get out of it, get after it. Last thing, too, 73,000 fans flat in Caesars Superdome. Titans lead this series 9-6-1. Titans have won more in New Orleans than at home. That's your positive for the week out of all the things we just broke down. But it is going to be a party for their home opener in there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about people who love football.
Yeah.
And there are plenty connections to the LSU, Louisiana area down there. You've got, obviously Christian Fulton, who went to LSU. You've got Tajay Spears, who we mentioned. Arden Key went to LSU. Like, there are a lot of connections to the Louisiana area. So that's going to be a special trip for a lot of these guys as well, who I don't believe the Titans have been there since 2005.
No, they were there the year they went 2-14. That was one of their 2 wins on a 2-point conversion late in the game. That was 2015.
2015. Yeah. Still a while ago.
Remember where I was watching that game.
Man.
The common area of Brown Hall, University of Tennessee.
Are you?
That's right.
You're still in college? Wow.
I was a freshman in college.
My goodness. That's crazy, though.
615-737-1045. It's the year I graduated high school. Coming up, ESPN.com has a biggest weakness and a biggest strength for the New Orleans Saints. We'll see if Ramon and Kayla agree with those assessments coming up next.
Savage, we're going to have a talk, man. We got to figure something out. But I'm here to talk about Genesis Diamonds right now. And one of the things I love most about Genesis Diamonds is the laid-back feel, the vibe, the relaxed feeling you get when you walk in. Simply this, too. There are no commission salespeople at Genesis. Never 1 ounce of pressure or intimidation to buy anything. If you're a diamond expert or if you don't know anything about diamonds, they will make you feel at home and at ease. And you can see a wide array of GIA-certified diamonds in all your price range, too, every shape. Or if you're looking for a lab-grown diamond also, Genesis has those as well at prices way, way below what others sell them for. All of this, plus you get free service for life on any purchase. Designer jewelers that you can't find at other stores, 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, and an incredible selection of pristine luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. This is Nashville's premier jeweler, voted time and time again as the best place to buy an engagement ring and best jewelry store in Middle Tennessee. Whether it's rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, colored gemstone jewelry, all at a price other stores could only dream of offering. For your special occasion coming up, get the most value, the highest quality, and the best overall experience at Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Nashville SC is teaming up with 104.5 The Zone to kick childhood cancer, a campaign benefiting the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital this September. Fans and listeners can bid on unforgettable experiences with their favorite radio personalities. And at Nashville SC matches at Geodis Park, you can bid on these unforgettable experiences and items by visiting 1045thezone.com today. It's RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, right here on 1045 The Zone. We will get to a developing story in the NFL coming up in 15 minutes on someone who you may have, like me, drafted early in your fantasy football drafts, who might be unavailable this weekend. Unfortunate. ESPN.com, guys, talks about the biggest weaknesses and strengths of every team. Let's start with the weakness. The turnover differential was very unkind to the New Orleans Saints last season. Part of the reason why they have a new quarterback. The net turnover differential of minus 11 was 31st in the NFL in 2022 for the New Orleans Saints. That's something that Coach Dennis Allen, the entire staff, has made a point to improve upon this offseason. But, guys, if you're talking about the number one thing in this matchup I think the Titans can exploit, it's the fact that the Titans are great at turning teams over, and the Saints, like a pastry shop that gives you beignets in New Orleans. Not my best. Will turn it over whenever you need.
Yeah. You need more like apple turnovers, man. Golly, well, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Minus 11.
That's what happens when Jameis Winston plays a lot of football for your team.
That's very true.
Andy Dalton.
And Andy Dalton, yeah.
Nice
Don't
guy,
forget
Andy
about
Dalton.
him, right?
I've never seen Andy Dalton more happy than being like a backup now in Carolina. He's so happy.
Yeah, because he's still making money.
And it's odd because the whole offseason he was like, I'm the starter. I'm the starter. I prepare like a starter. If I stop thinking that I can be a starter in this league, I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
And then they draft Bryce Young, and it's like, well, you're not the starter.
He's like, I'm the backup. I'm the backup. And when I lose his backup job, then
You are not the starter.
Conversation changes quick.
it changes
with Andy.
a little bit. But no, I like that, Will, for the Titans defense, especially for this defense who we've seen kind of even up the level of nastiness, right? We've heard about the addition of Arden Key and Azeez Al-Shaair and what they've brought to the table in terms of just added energy. And I think this defense is hungry. And to start the season with a game where they could possibly turn it in their favor quickly, I know that's a goal always of Jeffrey Simmons and crew. So it'll be fun to watch that.
The Bill Barnwell piece at ESPN.com has the Saints at a 56.5% chance to make the playoffs.
That's fair.
Last season, they had the league's oldest roster. I mentioned that their defensive line is old, and that also makes a difference when those players are still playing a lot of snaps. They had 10 players who are 30 or older play at least 300 snaps. 6 of those 10 are back, and Andy Dalton was one of them, and obviously he's now replaced by 32-year-old Derek Carr.
Yeah. We'll see what they look like with Carr. He looks excited, but of course, this is opening week. I mean, everybody's excited right now.
And you talked about the red zone.
Yeah.
With Jamal Williams and his success in the red zone. Well, they're hoping on that or wishing on that because Derek Carr has not been great in the red zone.
Yeah, no.
Quarterback wise.
So, exactly. They're going to look to try to pound it. Bert told us earlier, they got 4 first-rounders on that offensive line. The expectations is going to be high for those dudes to perform.
The strength from this ESPN piece about strengths and weaknesses for every team is spreading the ball around, which was not as much the case last season when Chris Olave had 72 catches for 1,042 yards, but they're healthier now in that offense. And you've got Olave back with Michael Thomas, which, again, I'll believe it when I see it, that Michael Thomas can get through an entire season now with the amount of injuries that he's had. And then Alvin Kamara and Juwan Williams, when they're both on the field together. You've got a pretty balanced attack there. And Shaheed, you mentioned, and Juwan Johnson. So I think the Saints, and the word out of New Orleans, they feel like they've got a lot of playmakers they can spread the ball out to. The question I always have, and Ramon, you could speak to this, and just when it happened to you, is do you feel like what is more likely, a sophomore slump or a guy making a big jump from year 1 to year 2? Because we see a lot of times players like Chris Olave will go from having 72 for 1,042 and then drop down to 600-700 yards because now they're a marked man.
I'd say with how Derek Carr plays, I expect him to have a similar season.
Okay.
I do expect that. He's uber talented, and they do have some weapons on the outside. But again, the reintroduction of Michael Thomas is going to determine a lot, though. So if there was a slump, it's because the distribution of the football to a dude that hadn't received it in 2 years. You know, and he's such a possession wide receiver, too. I think he may have one of the slowest 40 times of a wide receiver.
Michael Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, 4.57.
Yeah. Look, he wasn't crazy great coming out of Ohio State. I covered him.
Yeah.
In that championship run, and he wasn't as talked about as you would think. Now, he became bigger in terms of his draft stock as the process went along.
Yeah.
But as a receiver at Ohio State, and we've seen this time and time again, they're so deep there. And that's why Chris Olave, I don't think he'll skip a beat this year. Yeah. Like Brian Hartline has done a great job developing these wide receivers at Ohio State to be pro ready, to be ready to take on whatever comes your way at the next level. And it's also, who did Derek Carr build the most chemistry with during training camp, right?
Yeah.
Just because Michael Thomas has been there, Derek Carr hasn't been there.
Right. So
right?
we're going to see what it looks like, but I don't expect a drop off from Olave. I expect him to really just take it because Michael Thomas is 30 now also.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
615-737-1045 is our number as we transition from scouting the Saints to getting ready for the first NFL game of the season. The latest on Travis Kelce's health and how it affected the betting line in Chiefs-Lions coming up tomorrow. That's next as Hour 2 begins on RKW.
What's going on? 7 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Tough injury news in Kansas City as head coach Andy Reid told reporters that star tight end Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee at practice yesterday. His status for the Thursday night game is now uncertain, and they could be down without two stars on both sides of the ball as contract discussions with defensive lineman Chris Jones have grinded to a halt. In Arizona, head coach Jonathan Gannon is being coy about who will start versus the Commanders on Sunday. Their offensive coordinator Drew Petzing wouldn't divulge whether or not they will give Joshua Dobbs or Clayton Tune the reps with the first team offense going into week one. Here was Petzing.
But I think it's something that we certainly have talked through and are prepared for, and I think everybody's ready to go.
And now to Indianapolis for the start of the 2023 season. They've been thrust into a position where they're going to have to use a committee situation for their running backs. Head coach Shane Steichen said they're going to divvy up the workload between Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, and rookie Evan Hull, playing the proverbial hot hand approach. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on into hour number 2 on your Wednesday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Good morning. It's a good morning to have a good morning right here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh pushing all the right buttons, including ours, behind the glass. My name is Will Bowling. And if you are a fantasy football owner of Travis Kelce, you're like me and you're sweating a little bit today.
Yeah. That news came out yesterday. I was like, dang.
That news is that his ACL is intact, which is concerning. I don't know. That's a good update, but I hear that and it's like,
Sure.
So I guess there was doubt that it was intact.
Right.
So how's he doing? He's breathing.
That's
right.
That's scary.
Because there was so much swelling.
Ian Rappaport of NFL.com now adding that he has a bone bruise. His brother Jason on a podcast or on a radio interview, I believe, actually in Philadelphia, says that he does still have a chance to play tomorrow against the Detroit Lions. It will all depend on how much they can get down the inflammation. So I've gone from Travis Kelce's biggest hater to having him on both of my fantasy football teams.
Right.
I know that if you're listening, you don't care who is or isn't on my fantasy football team, but you might be like me and you might be sweating about an injury for the first time for an NFL game this season. I say all that to say that it feels good to be back, sweating out somebody's status to play or not playing again.
And I'm just smiling because the fools, that I'm playing with, which are all my brother's friends, who had what they say great drafts.
Yeah.
Well, one of them might not be without him. Well, I hope that's not the case for you, but I am rooting against my brother's friends.
Like a real one.
There you go.
Yeah.
By the way, his brother's lying on that podcast. I'm talking about a flat liar.
What is
You
he-
understand
what is
me?
he lying
If you
about?
saying on the podcast he has a chance to play,
Isn't a bone
absolutely
bruise
not.
painful?
Yes, I had that exact same injury in camp. My knee went backwards, okay? And it sucks. Like I thought I had my ACL, MCL, PCL, everything torn out because that's how excruciating that pain was. Like if you see a picture of me on the practice field with my head down, look like I'm about to cry and guys surrounding me, well, that's because I had a hyperextended knee. That thing takes forever. Like you can't. I was 3.5, 4 weeks out, and this is also my position. I play offensive line. I didn't play the skill position that he plays. So, and able to cut like y'all ever had one? No,
A bone
no
bruise?
dice?
I have not had a bone bruise.
Bone
Absolutely
bruises.
not.
And all that heals that is time. You can kind of speed it up with the stimulating machines and stuff like that. But like, there's not a whole lot you can do other than ice let it heal. You got to think about what a bruise is on top of your skin. It takes a few days for that to disappear, but the pain is still there. Kelsey, in my experience, is probably at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
Unless it's not that deep of a bruise.
Sure.
I can't see him going right out there, especially at his age now, too.
So far today, Ramon has been both a meteorologist and now a
doctor.
That's experience.
The doctor is in.
There we go.
No, it's legit.
His experience may be different from mine, but if it's a serious bone bruise where he thought he almost tore his ACL,
Yeah.
then it could be for a little while.
Yeah. Anybody I've covered who's mentioned bone bruise, they're like, it's the most painful
I'm
thing
telling
ever.
you.
I'm like, oh,
You
okay.
can't put no weight on it. It's unbearable to sleep at night with.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Learning to walk again with it sucks.
Kelsey has surpassed 1,000 yards in 7 straight seasons. He has not missed a game to injury since his rookie season in 2013 when he underwent a microfracture procedure on his knee.
What?
33 years old. He's only missed 3 games since 2014, twice resting in the final week of the season in 2017 and 2020, and then he had COVID in 2021, week 16. He may not have had COVID, but
Yeah.
because of COVID, he could not play. Point spread goes from 6.5 in favor of Kansas City to now 5 in favor of the Chiefs against the Detroit Lions. I feel like the best case scenario, I was listening to a podcast that said this months ago, for the Lions is to lose close to the Chiefs. Because if the Lions win, then we all have the expectation for them to just be a contender. And I don't know if the Lions are ready for that. And if they get blown out, this podcast I was listening to was like, well, but then we're like, oh, the Lions aren't really for real in it after all. They're just still frauds.
I bet the Lions don't give a damn about that. The Lions are like, no, we want to win.
Let's take off a kneecap.
Winning is usually a good strategy. Well, if he's got a bone bruise on his knee, though, that's one less kneecap for them to take.
That's
so.
true. That knee ain't no good. How about Chris Jones, too? I mean, he's probably not playing.
Still holding out?
Yeah.
Still holding
So those
out.
are 2 big pieces on the defensive side and offensive side that you don't have.
Andy Reid yesterday said there is no progress with Chris Jones.
Oof.
No progress. Good
That's not
luck, my
good.
brother. I hope it works out for you. And more times it does, especially whenever they lost Kelsey. I think Kelsey's the best thing that could have happened to Chris Jones right now. Because if they do go out and lose, it becomes a very sticky situation for the Kansas City
That's
Chiefs
a good point.
Interesting.
early on.
615-737-1045. I have to take a moment. You're Not That Guy is coming up at
I
8:20.
can't wait.
Talk to me, Will.
But I might just make my You're Not That Guy whoever made the coffee in our station this morning.
Oh, my God.
If you've seen the movie Oppenheimer, you saw probably nuclear waste that is in our coffee today in that movie with the bomb that was made, obviously, in World War II.
Yeah.
This is nuclear. I did not know people were capable of messing up a cup of coffee to the level that the cup of coffee has been messed up in front of me today. Look, I'm not one to complain about caffeine. Caffeine is caffeine. You drink it, you get through the day, and you just keep on moving. But genuinely, someone needs to find God in the 104.5 The Zone Cumulus Nashville building.
I put a half a thing of stevia in mine plus cream,
Ugh,
and it
makes
did
it
not change
worse.
the taste. Whatever.
I'm going to print
Whatsoever.
off a note and leave it in there and just let
Strongly
them know
worded.
someone else needs to be making the coffee. Because this isn't just a one day or a one-off where every once in a while it's bad. It is always horrific. The coffee is never suitable to drink.
And it's not the fault of the ingredients.
No.
The tub that we have of coffee grounds is normal across workplaces around America. Yet, maybe this is why the American worker is more exhausted and run down. Like, I'm going to petition for a sick day because this coffee makes me sick.
An additional one.
Yeah, an additional one. Paul, you can expect an email later. Management, please, these are hostile working conditions.
I got to go try it now.
You might have half the show out
I
then.
don't want to. I don't want to, man. It's
Robert walked out of the studio.
Rob.
Did you not drink it this morning,
I
Ramon?
had to had another pot, man, or either this is why I'm up like this. Like I think you guys had a different pot than I did.
This could
Okay.
peel
That's-
paint.
This is disgusting.
It could wake up people from being
smell
passed
mine.
out.
Bro,
Here,
I
here.
know.
No,
Well,
I want
Robert's
you.
going to get some right
I want
now.
you to smell
Don't bring
this.
that over here because I'm gonna throw up. Nope.
Kayla's now walking over to Ramon's seat.
What is this?
Is Ramona smelling the coffee?
Okay, that's bad.
All right, so Robert is going to take a live taste test.
Oh my
of the coffee
gosh.
this morning. Robert, can you give me the tasting notes?
Oh.
Do you have some fresh cherry, some oak, vanilla? Does it have an oaky afterbirth?
It has a little bit of burnt, whole lot of burnt. And another thing about coffee etiquette about your workplace is when you see that there is just a smidge, 1 cup left in that the coffee apparatus, go ahead and pour a new one. Go ahead and make a new one. There ain't no sense in leaving a half-drank cup of coffee sitting at the bottom of that thing because everybody here leaves the burners on. So it can burn, so it can smell the whole place up. This thing is so hot right now, and there wasn't enough coffee in there for nothing.
I caught a guy yesterday leaving and not even a half a cup. I caught us behind. You hear me? I was just like, look at you. I see you. I see you. Now watch me.
You gave him the look.
Make this. I did give him the look, and you can tell he knew what he was doing because he was startled when I walked in too. I was like, "You are the reason we got workplace rules. Do you understand me? You're the reason. Be a good, decent human being. By the way, the fridge needs to be cleaned out too. There's
Just air it all out.
air it out, boy.
I know.
I
I love the people in the F&M Bank chat who think we're entitled about talking about coffee.
Oh, no, we're very entitled.
And
We're
when you
entitled to
when
good
you get up
coffee.
at 4 a.m.,
Yeah.
you must not be a coffee person.
Have you guys ever licked deodorant before?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Why
I
in the
have.
world
No.
would
Okay,
I
so
have licked deodorant?
whenever deodorant comes into contact with your mouth, like it's an antiperspirant, right? So it kind of shrinks up anything that has water. It makes your mouth like repulsed.
Chalky, yeah.
That is how I feel when I drink this coffee.
It's really-
This
I literally-
coffee makes me want to spit my tongue out.
Lonzo is the lowest common denominator as usual in the chat, who says, will be in bougie Brentwood. Hey, Lonzo, was I the only one complaining?
No.
You're not today.
Is
Rob.
everyone
Not
here
about
from
this.
Brentwood?
Nope.
Hey.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
This coffee could be for
absolutely
Brentwood.
Lonzo,
for
try
all
to
I
keep
care.
up. Yeah, that's right.
No doubt, man.
Lonzo, you would puke if you tasted this coffee.
Yeah, this is trash right here. This is even worse than. And I like local cheap diner coffee.
Right, like I can
Oh,
usually
yeah,
drink
of
black
course.
coffee.
Yeah.
Like I have no
Black
problem.
coffee is outstanding.
No,
Yes.
no problem with black coffee, but this is horrendous. This is so bad.
Yeah. And it's okay to complain about the coffee.
How dare you
we
be
don't ask
bougie.
so much. We don't ask
Coffee
so much.
talk.
We
on
need our call-
104.5 The Zone.
Our
Yeah.
bosses to try this
What was-
coffee.
They
Coffee
should.
talk.
Y'all walk upstairs and try this coffee today. How about that? I know y'all love.
I thought you were talking to us. I was like, Ramon, we're already on the top
Nah, I'm
floor.
talking to our bosses, man. Come get you a cup.
Again, and on Twitter, apparently, again, guys, sorry, I'm the only one complaining, apparently, according to our listeners. Will complaining about coffee. You do know they don't have to provide you anything, right?
Well,
Yeah, hey,
I
go
don't know
talk-
about
I
that.
honestly rather them provide me nothing.
I was gonna say go talk to a wall, okay? How about that? Because we're gonna complain all day about this coffee.
Again, the problem is not what we've been provided. The problem is whoever in the building is making what we've been provided.
Right there, Will.
I am happy with what we've been provided. I am perfectly, as a former coffee maker for a summer job, no free shout-outs, a place that has good donuts and munchkins as well. I know how to make coffee, and apparently we need a coffee education course within this building.
I'm up for it.
I'm up for it too. Tripping Titans in F&M Bank chat said it perfectly. Bad work coffee is the worst.
Yeah, tripping
It
Titans,
is.
you ain't tripping.
It is. It's the worst.
Exactly
and that's
right.
all we're saying. Like, we were taught how to make it in the break room in my old jobs. Like, hey, look, you goofballs coming down here, don't mess up the workplace coffee. And that's all we're saying.
Yeah, we love we're
That's it.
provided with it.
Yeah.
615-737-1045 is our number. Coming up next, Derrick Henry has a chance to chase a little bit of history this season. But we asked the question to you and to the show, are the Titans at their best this season if Derrick Henry sets a new franchise record, passes Eddie George for rushing yards in Tennessee Titans history, and runs for over 1,600 yards? Question we ask, how much of the Titans offense in 2023 should be built around Derrick Henry? Or is it time to move on and build your offense around pieces that will be here for the foreseeable future? That's next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Hey, it's Will. Do you need an extra outlet or two? Do you have wall switches that just don't seem to work? Or is your car charger not performing efficiently? Well, these all seem to be simple issues, but they are rarely do-it-yourself projects. Dealing with electricity, well, that requires the expertise of an experienced professional. Call the pros over at Lee Company. Their electrical team can solve any problem you have safely and efficiently. And right now, you can enjoy $20 off an electrical service call for a limited time. All you got to do is contact them, 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com for an appointment. That's leecompany.com. The number again, 615-567-1000. You're going to get $20 off an electrical service call right now for a limited time for the folks who have been trusted for nearly 80 years. 615-567-1000. That's the number to call online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company. All you need. Wednesday morning continues on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. You can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch at Ramon Kayla Will, where you can join the Twitter stream as we talk Titans and Derrick Henry, chasing a little bit of history this season and this upcoming week as the Titans take on the Saints. By the way, I just want to highlight, Robert, that we talk a lot about the music that is in this system and maybe complaints about one mohawked producer that doesn't put the best selections in. Kick Push by Lupe Fiasco was one of the few things I have put in this system for my celebrity playlist years ago that everyone hated, by the way. Anyway, it's a good song.
That just played.
Yeah, it did.
Is it?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no,
That's
it was
what I'm
like
talking about.
the one that just played. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why would people hate that?
That song was on like NBA Live 06.
Oh,
Oh,
it's got a good beat to it.
Something
Love
like
Lupe.
that.
Probably in somebody's dorm room catching a nap right then at Gibbs, watching them play.
I was probably
NBA
there
2K.
in first grade with my brother who lived in the same dorm.
Oh, man. 06, that was a rough year for me right there. I'll be real
Really?
with you.
On the
Heck
field?
Yeah.
Or off the field.
A little bit,
little bit of both.
I was pledging that year.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I was pledging that year.
Trippin' Titans says 3HL needs new intro music.
And that spring, I thought I was going to win that starting job and didn't. That was Cut's first year, and I didn't. But I had a great spring. That was a testing year. A lot of kids would have jumped in the portal had they had that year I had.
Not going to tell you what grade I
Especially
was
nowadays.
in 2006.
First grade.
Do it now.
No.
Do it now.
Guess.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth grade.
Dang, I was in 6th.
What? Here I am, a full-fledged adult. You fools in elementary,
giving
middle
my
school.
age
You talking about
Sorry.
winning jobs and stuff? I didn't even. I was just playing with crayons.
Man. Well, 06 was a testing year. Shout out to the Noops, man.
I was learning PEMDAS for the first time.
What the hell is PIMDOS?
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Oh, God.
Parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division,
Oh, yeah.
I was
addition,
That's
subtraction.
so long ago, I don't remember.
Trigonometry.
PIMDOS.
PEMDAS is
school.
not
in
trigonometry.
high school trig.
No, PEMDAS
Calculus?
is the order of operations.
I know, but which math course was it? It was either trigonometry
I'm
or
talking about
calculus.
fourth grade.
I know.
How are you talking
learned
about
that in fourth grade?
trigonometry out here? You took trigonometry.
Like PEMDAS is like
Oh.
elementary school, end of
No.
elementary
Now-
school.
Honor
No
roll
way.
here, okay?
Not in
Beta
math.
club
Maybe
here,
I'm
okay?
wrong. I don't
I was
know.
in honor roll about
Legit.
everything but math.
Ramon
I
has
was
been
too.
a meteorologist,
Oh, my
a
God.
doctor,
Now
a
he's a
mathematician.
You damn right. You
And a
damn
sideline
right.
reporter for Titans Radio this Sunday in New Orleans.
What's 24 divided by 8 right now?
3.
Go.
It's 3, yeah.
What's
Yeah, what's
55
Wait, no, we're not-
times 6?
55 times 6 is what is that? I mean, I got a calculator right here.
330.
You
now.
said you're a mathematician.
No. That's complex math right there. That's all I'm telling you. It's all good. Like 1,500?
We've talked about deodorant. We've
Well,
talked about burnt
1675.
coffee.
You can use that math to get to 1,675 yards this season because that is what Derrick Henry needs to pass Eddie George for the franchise record in rushing. Derrick Henry. Ron Slay in the F&M Bank chat, by the way, says a lot of 3HL mentions this morning.
Yes.
Love you guys too.
There has been.
Oh,
3
we
to
definitely
6.
love you, man.
3 to
Including
6
your
weekdays.
producer.
Yeah, I'm on weekly
Go
every
Hunky.
Thursday, baby. Acting a fool with 3HL, by the way.
It's a good time.
Young Yorl on there.
We got
Any
vibes.
shout outs you want to give us too, Ron Slay, on your show? Anytime. Anytime.
He does.
He did it yesterday. I heard Mayo
does
bring
quite
it
a
up
bit,
yesterday. He sure did.
Beginning
just
and
saying.
end of the days have to work together. And we
Having a
have a
chat.
good collaboration with them.
I think we do a good ping-ponging back
That's
and
right.
forth. Absolutely.
Derrick Henry is chasing history this season, but do you want the offense still built around him?
Ooh.
Yes or no?
It's circumstantial almost for me.
Okay.
Because I want Derek to resign here, just like most do. But if he's not going to resign here, give him the workload. You have to. Business is business when it all boils down. I'll say this is going to sound mean, but it's as business get when it comes down to the NFL. Why would I save a guy that I'm not going to keep next year if that's the case, if he don't get that extension? I've seen this happen before with Le'Veon. It was like, okay, well, you come in, we're going to play this thing out, and guess what? You want to run it, we're going to let you run it. Then the franchise tag came the next year and stuff like that. But all in all, if Derek needs about 1,600 yards to be number one in all-time rusher, leading rusher here with the Tennessee Titans, I let him get his goal. And if that means Derek helped us win by getting 1,600 yards with whatever touches it may take, do it.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at with it.
I don't think as a head coach you're going to say, well, we're going to do everything we can to let you get to that goal. Like, that's our main goal for this team. I don't think that's how they're looking at it. But if Derrick Henry is still a part of this team, which he is, they're going to continue to run the ball. I mean, it might be tweaked a little, and that's yet to be seen from Tim Kelly. We don't know what that includes in terms of actually seeing it in an NFL game, regular season game, right?
Yep.
But if Derrick Henry is still on this team, I believe they're going to give him opportunity to continue to be the guy that this offense kind of runs through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, it could be tweaked a little. You also have Tajay Spears now. I don't think Derrick Henry is probably going to have as many carries as he has had in the past, because I think they're going to kind of use him a little bit, integrate him a little bit in this as well.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see him get to those numbers, Ramona will, but I'm more so just use him how you need to use him.
Yeah.
And if he gets to those numbers, great.
Is this Titans offense at its best if Derrick Henry breaks the rushing record with 1,675 yards? Is that the best iteration of Tim Kelly's Titans offense?
I would think so, because it works. And then, of course, if the run game is good, the passing game usually follows behind it. The run sets up the pass more times than not. Tim Kelly offense has to be this. Derek is your rock pounder, essentially all the time. The emergence of Tajay Spears, to me, has to be something that has to come organic.
Sure.
It can't be one of those situations where he's a gadget guy. If he's in getting some reps, get those reps. What I'm hoping happens with Tajay and Derek is this. You have a yin and a yang to where when you need Tajay, he's able to give you those points. And also this, too, as it boils down to Derek, his incorporation of the passing game, the screen game, too. Before he got injured, 2021, we were seeing a whole lot of that. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case. The pound game as far as the run game goes for this team, as far as Derek's concerned, I feel like with D-Hop, Traylon, Chig supposedly going to have a good year. And watching what Tannehill does with his legs, I'm hoping that there's more balance, that you don't have to have a slow, methodical game to get those points up. We say all we want about Derek getting his yards, but if we're not scoring points at the end of the game, then what does it matter, too? That's where I guess the conversation is going to come when it comes down to what is it going to take to get Derek to the 1,600. Is it 1 yard, 2 yard, then punt? You know what I'm saying? Or is it Derek's running like a man on fire this year?
I also wonder with this, I think just even to start the season, too, we're going to see the run game like we've seen it, right? Because I feel like you still have Ryan Tannehill, who is going to be working for the first time with D-Hop, with some of these new weapons that he has. The offensive line is not exactly, all together at this point. Like, they've made strides, but I don't think that they're ready to go game one where you're going to see this outstanding offensive line. I mean, you said it yourself, Ramon. It's going to take 3 or 4 games for that to mesh as well.
It is.
So if you believe in something that you have already, which is running the ball, Derrick Henry, I feel like you're at least going to see a lot of that to start the season.
It's a big moment for Derek, though. As far as the history goes, if he's able to get these 1,600 yards this year, he's numero uno in this organization. That's huge.
Well, and he's got to be, probably a Hall of Famer at some point.
I don't think he is right now.
But if he gets to that.
I don't think so. I think he's got to have about 3 more seasons of doing what he's been doing.
That's a long time. I mean, I feel like he's been steady.
He has.
The resume is better than it's ever been, certainly. But the injury season, unfortunately, in 2021 hurt him. It did.
It really did.
And ultimately, what happened with Eddie and what happens in sports all the time is that if Derek goes to a different team to finish his career, he's going to have to prove that he can do it in 2 different uniforms in order to really have a Hall of Fame case. Eddie's ending in Dallas is what really, really, really hurts his resume for the Hall of Fame, because he was on the same pace here. Eddie was. He played in the Super Bowl, which Derek hasn't done, obviously. You're not wrong, Kayla, in your point that he's on the doorstep of the Hall of Fame, and I think that's certainly now going to be the conversation about Derek. I just think now, from the Titans' perspective, do you start to move on this season? Do you start to give more Tyjae Spears-centered drives? Because I think that's something that's going to happen. I think Sunday, don't be surprised when you see Tyjae Spears get an entire drive and Derrick Henry is on the sidelines. I think this has been the hope and the plan for the Titans since Darrington Evans was drafted. Heck, since Dion Lewis was here. When can we give Derrick an entire drive off to keep him at his best at the end of a game and at the end of the season?
Right.
But they haven't had the running back quality or health to really do that. I think the best iteration of this Titans offense is Derrick Henry getting 1,200 to 1,500 yards. I think Derrick Henry now is no longer your foundation. The foundation of this offense needs to be the pass game and Ryan Tannehill and the experience you have at quarterback. Because I don't think personally that the Titans are good enough on the offensive line to be predictable and good. Yeah. When Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards, they were predictable on offense, but they were good on offense because you had weapons at wide receiver that were proven. Titans have more of that now than they did last year, but I still don't think Treylon Burks is proven. I just think he has a high ceiling. Okay, you can check that box a little bit. You can check the Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears box. You've got weapons in the backfield. The box that we still can't check yet is this offensive line good enough to tell the defense we're running up the middle and still block them out of the way for Derrick Henry at this point in his career? I don't have the answer to that yet.
Well, and I think it's just an interesting situation because I think they're in a transition period. So there's no 100% it's going to be about Derrick Henry, and there's no 100% it's not. Because guess what? What have they done in terms of 2 draft picks that you're looking at now for the future? Will Levis and Tyjae Spears in terms of what could be replaced next year, possibly.
And I think that's what makes all this very interesting and just something to keep your eye on this year. Will, your point about how the distribution of reps on the ground happens is going to be huge this year. Huge for Derrick. I think what most people hope is this. Is, Will, to your point, if Derrick's going to go get it, that HOF status, Hall of Fame status. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
No, if he's going to go get the HOF status, this is where it has to happen. If Derrick is of the mindset, I can sit back behind Tyjae, a series or two to extend my career. That's tough for a guy that wants and needs and loves the ball in his hand, though, too. Mm-hmm. But if you see him go do these things in another uniform at another place, I saw somebody drop in the FMM Bank chat. He's going to go somewhere like Philly and get 1,600 yards and run into the Hall of Fame. But to think about free agency, Buffalo Bills would probably love to have a guy like Derrick Henry.
Well, there was talk in the offseason.
Or Miami. Yeah. Like, think about it. They can devalue that position all they want to. But if you have the opportunity to get a guy like that, you go take that opportunity to get him. You hope you get Adrian Peterson on the last end of his where he was actually doing good. Who was the team he was with? Was it?
Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson. He had, I think, one good stint. Washington.
Yeah, Washington,
right? They maximized the heck out of what he had going on there.
Mm-hmm.
D. Good says in the Infinite Bank chat, he was behind an awful offensive line last year and got over 1,600 yards. Yes, but the point is that the Titans weren't winning those games late when he was rushing for 100 yards. The problem is not, is Derrick Henry capable of running for 1,600 yards behind a bad offensive line? The issue is that last season, there was a switch in the Titans' method of victory. The Titans were outstanding in games where Derrick Henry rushed for 100 yards. That ended last year. Derrick Henry rushed for 100-plus in the last 4 games of the season. The Titans won 0 of those games. Losses to Jacksonville, 30 for 109. Lost to Houston, 23 for 126 and a touchdown. Lost to the Chargers, 21 for 104. Lost to the Jags, 17 for 121. So, yes, you have games like Philadelphia where he goes 11 for 30. You can never get the run game established and you lose. That's not what the issue is. The problem now is that the Titans have got to become more multiple, and teams are figuring out ways to turn over the Titans and make them not as explosive on offense and saying, fine, we'll give Derrick Henry 5 yards per carry. Doesn't matter. We know how to stop that and to bottle that up and not give up the big explosive play in the passing game that then would come off of the Derrick Henry running. Derrick Henry had fine stats last season. That's not the problem. He had 349 for 1,500, 1,538 yards. That's not the point. The point is, what's the sweet spot for the Titans to be at their best on offense this year?
Yeah, and I'm just saying it's not going to flip like in one game, right? I think it's going to be something we're going to start to see throughout the season. You kind of add a little bit each time, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the realistic way to do it.
It is, and I'll say this too. Another glitch in the system as far as what's the outlook on the season, how it's going to be. I'll say this. I feel like the AFC South has become more challenging.
Yeah.
You got a defensive-minded head coach in Houston who's going to be gung-ho on doing one thing right. That one thing right is probably going to be stopping the run. Okay, are we're clear on that one too? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Jags defense is definitely a little bit better right now too. Again, and we've always known the Colts to have a solid one. All I'm saying is this. It may take time for Derek to get that HOF, and your division is creeping up as far as trying to get better and move in the right direction. I don't know what Houston's going to be, but having a defensive-minded coach, they want to do one thing well most times. They want to make sure you feel their pain the same way Vrabel does with this team here. Think about the mindset of the guys that you're talking about as far as coaches. We expect Doug Peterson to be a very offensive-minded team when it comes down to what they do and operate with Trevor Lawrence, right? Mm-hmm. Defensively, looking at Houston, it's going to be a very similar situation where they will try to stop Derek. To your point, Will, about it being death by 1,000 paper cuts, I think a lot of teams will be okay with Derek getting his 5. But also, this is a big year to prove his worth as a running back in this league. He is on the forefront of those guys having that call this past summer about the valuation of the starting running back in today's game.
Yep. I would agree. 615-737-1045, the number. More of your reaction on that conversation coming up next. Plus, a new tradition for Tennessee football players that is not very nutritious, but it is something that I would have 100% been a part of if I was still a student at the University of Tennessee. That's next on Ramon, Kalen, and Will.
It's Ramon Foster for Scoreboard Bar and Grill. Fall in Tennessee may be the best time of the year, and Scoreboard is ready to celebrate it with Low Country Bowls, football, and the best live music in Nashville. Now with 2 great locations, the original one across from the Grand Ole Opry, and now on the shores of Old Hickory Lake at Cedar Creek. If it's a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night, both scoreboards will have all the games, food, and music you want. Whether you're coming by boat, Harley, truck, or chopper, you can land at either location. And if it's football time, it's scoreboard time. Are you ready for some football? You can join 3HL this Friday from 3 to 6 as they broadcast live from the newest Scoreboard Cedar Creek location. And listen up, y'all. They'll have great giveaways and half off all drinks from 3 to 6. If you want some free UT Austin P tickets, the home opener, register to win with a pair of 3HL. You must be present to win, so be sure to be there. Mark your calendars and get your appetite ready. Low Country Bowls with crab, shrimp, and all the fixings start back up this Saturday from noon to 5. Scoreboard, Cedar Creek on Old Hickory Lake.
Continuing your Wednesday morning right here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. And we remind you that Nashville SC is teaming up with 104.5 The Zone to kick childhood cancer, a campaign benefiting the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital all month this September. Join the NSC Kick Club by contributing $10 a month or a one-time gift of $120 by texting Kick Cancer to 615-488-4401 or by visiting 1045thezone.com. Again, that is 615-488-4401 or online at 1045thezone.com. Talking a lot about Derrick Henry and the Titans offense this morning. And the question we asked was, do you want the offense still built around Derrick Henry this season? In the F&M Bank chat, TJ writes it on Facebook and says, are you really that lost? Maybe, just maybe, if the line was way better with a healthy Tannehill, things go differently. I can't guarantee the line's going to be way better this year. Can you?
I can't guarantee it. We got to see it.
I mean, that's the point here is that the offensive line is still the question mark. And with a bunch of guys on prove-it deals and Daniel Brunskill going from being a swing guy for the San Francisco 49ers and Aaron Brewer switching to a new position for the first time and a left tackle that got beat out by a 7th-round pick for his job in Philadelphia. TJ, I can't guarantee the line's going to be way better. That's the point, is that you need to rely more on Ryan Tannehill and more on the other weapons in your offense to take some of the burden off of Derrick Henry, because just relying on Derrick Henry without a good line and without good quarterback play last year, Titans had a losing streak to finish the season.
And the game, today's game, is a whole lot different as far as the passing goes. Like, you have to be able to compete. One thing we know for sure is being that Anthony Richardson in Indy can run the ball and can throw the ball. And you also have C.J. Stroud now, who's known to be a passer also. And then you have Trevor Lawrence in your division. You got to combat it with similar things. I've been saying for the longest, I feel like we all have been saying we want to see more out of Tannehill as far as using his shoulders and a little bit of his legs too as far as moving the pocket. You have guys this year too. You have guys that fit in the slots. D-Hop has changed the outlook of what this team offensively can be. When we speak of Chig, it ain't for his blocking. When we speak of Chig, it's for his pass catching ability and the hope that you can get out of him and trailing, right? You got a three-headed monster right now of skill guys that can be utilized with the addition, with also having Derrick supplemented in it too. The reason everybody's excited about Tajay is because of why? The home run hits that he can get and how he slashes in and out of the line of scrimmage. It's just a different style of running. There's no knock. Derrick, I think, should still be, if not number one, number two as far as offensive importance.
Well, Tajay is also more of a, I know you mentioned Derrick as being part of the pass-catching game, but that's not natural for Derrick. Derrick's been working at that for 3 seasons now. For Tajay, like, that's natural for him. He is more of a natural pass catcher, so you could see him probably maybe getting involved even more in that situation. Yeah. The versatility of Tajay is I think endless, you know, as he continues to develop in the league. When it comes to this offense, though, as a whole, and just trying to predict how much Derrick will be a part of it, like this year, he's still going to run the ball, right? Like, he's still the main piece, like I mentioned. But what's so weird about this is why we keep having questions and we don't really know the answers, is because this is a different offensive coordinator, and you would hope that there's a little more of a natural ability to play call. Yeah. You would hope that there's a little more ability now to not be so predictable. And that's what I think we're all hoping for. Now, I'm fine if Derrick runs the ball, if he's still right, like it goes through the run, but they've got to equal it out a little. There's got to be some balance this year, else you're going to continue to see 17 points per game.
You're somewhat to have that, though.
And no points in the second half, which was an issue all year.
Problematic. Very.
615-737-1045, our number if you want to join in on this Derrick Henry Titans offense conversation. Let's go to Mike up first here to finish off our number 2. What's up, Mike?
Oh, greetings from South Carolina. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good morning.
You were mentioning the Texas game last year where we lost to the Texans, and Henry had 125, 126 yards. So I called up the stats, and when you say, the offensive line isn't going to be better for sure. No, it's going to be better. Yeah, we got 126 for Derek, but we couldn't pass. We couldn't hold on to the passes. Malik threw 2 interceptions. Here's our leading receivers. Robert Woods, 4 catches for 30 yards. Nick Westbrook-Akina, 2 catches, 23 yards. Austin Hooper, 2 catches for 20 yards. Haskins, 2 catches for 17. Chig, 1 catch for 10. We're trading that for D-Hop and Burks. Nick will probably be in the slot, so he's still there. Chig is going to be the number 1 tight end now. We're trading Haskins or receiving passes for Tajay. I think we all think that's going to be a big move up. And as far as the line, go back and watch Dennis Daly film and then tell me we're not going to be better.
No, nobody said the line was going to be worse than it was. We just don't know how good they can be.
Improved.
Yeah, of course it's going to be improved.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think you can't get worse than that.
Mike, the point was that there's no way to guarantee they will be way better. That's the thing. What does better look like for the Titans offensive line this year? Like, I get that it's easy just to say, oh, they don't have Dennis Daly anymore. They'll be fine. It's so much more complicated than that for this offensive line. You also have a new center. You haven't had a new center since Mike Vrabel's been here.
That's true.
Honestly, the offensive line will probably be better. I don't know how good Andre Dillard is. Andre Dillard lost his job in Philadelphia for a reason. So just because you don't have one player that all of you hated last year, and for good reason, doesn't mean that there's just a magic wand that this offensive line is fixed. And it's probably going to take 6 or 7 weeks to do it. Oh, and by the way, your right tackle suspended.
That's a fair take.
I'm not trying to be totally doom and gloom here. I think we all agree, and Kayla said it, the offensive line will be better than it was last season. But way better is something that I don't know.
That's fair. That's a very fair take right there when you speak about the start of the season.
If anyone can talk about it, you can. It's not that easy to just, at the snap of a finger with the new line, to be on the same page and be that line the first year of doing that.
No doubt. Yeah. We'll get more into it for
all
sure.
those weapons also got to be healthy, too, late
Well,
in the season.
that's the biggest thing with this
The
team.
reason you were throwing to those guys that Mike mentioned against the Texans is because Traylon Burks was hurt. Yep. Not his fault last year when he had the injuries he did, but got to be healthy. 615-737-1045. We'll get to Dawn coming up first to begin hour 3. Your thoughts on our Derrick Henry conversation. Some college football news as well, with a new poll and a new tradition for Tennessee football coming up next on RKW.
It's Ramon and Will for Kellum Stem Cell Institute, guys. If there's something you have bothering your body, I'm telling you, this is the place you want to go. This is your body using its own cells to correct itself. I've heard of people using this, and I actually have an appointment on Thursday to go see them to figure out how I can help myself. The aches, the pains, the inflammation, even there's some side stuff you wouldn't know about, like migraines. Like that daily ache that you have can be fixed by simply visiting Kellum Stem Cell Institute.
Yeah, that's right, Ramon. And these are treatments that athletes, pro athletes at the highest levels are using because Dr. Kellum, he recently returned from Hungary where he worked with Olympic Team USA. He was also the team doctor for the Boston Celtics, and he works with major sports franchises, individual players as well. This is a way, if you've got aches and pains, you can do what the pros do. Take care of your body with this revolutionary stem cell treatment. It is your cells healing your body. Here's the website, KellumStemCellInstitute.com. That's KELLUM StemCellInstitute.com. Find out more info there. Book an appointment, KellumStemCellInstitute.com.
8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Tough injury news in Kansas City as Chiefs coach Andy Reid told reporters that star tight end Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee at practice yesterday, and his status is now uncertain for tomorrow night. Chiefs believe Travis Kelce's ACL is still intact, and Ian Rappaport reported this morning that it is a bone bruise. Still issues with him playing Thursday. They're going to have to see if they can get the swelling down. So Chiefs stand to be potentially down stars on both sides of the ball as contract discussions with defensive lineman Chris Jones have grinded to a halt. In Arizona, head coach Jonathan Gannon is being coy about who will start versus the Commanders on Sunday. Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing won't divulge whether or not they will give first team snaps to Dobbs or rookie Clayton Tune. Here was Petzing earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a plan in place in terms of how we want to handle that. Certainly, we're not going to be completely forward with that in the media, but I think it's something that we certainly have talked through and are prepared for, and I think everybody's ready to go.
And then on to Indianapolis as Jonathan Taylor's absence from the start of the 2023 season thrust the Indianapolis Colts backfield from a one-man show to a group effort as head coach Shane Steichen said they're going to divvy up the workload between Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, and rookie Evan Hull, playing the proverbial hot hand approach. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show on your Wednesday morning edition. Welcome in to your RKW morning. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. And coming up in 20 minutes, go ahead and drink that sour coffee and bring a sour mood to the show for a special Wednesday edition of You're Not That Guy. That is coming up at 8:20. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in on the discussion. The F&M Bank chat is open and lively this morning, where you can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, at Ramon Kayla Will, where you follow the show, at The Ramon Foster, at Kayla Anderson TV. I am at Will_Bowling. And most importantly, if you're going to follow any of us, follow at Robbie_Walsh.
Hey, come on.
There you go.
Got to.
If only for the vacation pics.
There we go.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Happy hump day, good people.
Oh, it is, huh?
It is hump day,
This
man.
is literally the middle of the week for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, halfway through our halfway point of the show.
And it's been lively.
Halftime.
Liveliness.
Going to do the circle drill.
What's the circle drill?
What's the circle drill?
Yeah.
That's what the Pride of the Southland Band does for one game, really 2 games a year. It's the best and hardest circle drill in all of marching bands in college football.
Bro.
I don't know what that
You
is
were always
either.
in the halftime locker room.
I was going to say,
Gosh, there are a lot of this is not just a me thing.
never read
The chat will probably not back me up on this, but the circle drill is a staple of Tennessee football games. Even road fans, like other SEC fans, know the circle drill. Because Tennessee will do it on the road.
I had no idea.
It's a tour around the state of Tennessee, and they do like different circle formations.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am the son of a Tennessee band alumnus
Okay.
who was a trumpet player back in the day.
I met a guy this weekend who was also a band alumnus, man.
Did you?
Yes, I did. He came up and said he loved the show and stuff like that.
Nice.
By the way, we got to eventually get some people to say, you guys suck, but I listen anyway. Like, everybody loves the show when they see us.
Who's to say
I
they
saw a
don't
guy
say
at
that to
dinner
us? We're just
Sunday
not
night.
going to talk about it.
I did. My dad introduced me to this Tennessee family. I think it was at the SEC tournament where this guy was sitting with us, and my dad, was getting to talk to this guy and got to know him. He's like, "Oh, do you listen to the radio at all here?" And that's my son Will. He does a morning show here, and this guy goes, "Oh, I heard of him. Don't mean I always agree with him, but I heard of him." So maybe it's just me that gets the negative
Oh, my
comments.
No,
gosh.
and I'm not asking for hate, but I was just like, I'm sure people like, you come on here all the time saying that people say they love this show. Well, I hate it. Why did I make that voice
Call
like
up.
that?
Call up if you do.
No. All right, we ain't trying
I think
to.
the people who hate
through
me
that.
have called up. That's why we've got 4 callers on the line ready
No, they
to go.
can call up here and holler at me.
They
right?
can holler
Call
at you.
Bert.
But
Doesn't
I
bother
did
me.
meet a band alumnus this weekend.
Beth in the F&M Bank chat watching on Facebook. Good morning, Beth. Says circle drill is legendary.
There you go.
What was that, bull in the ring?
Usually it's what I'm talking about with the band. My goodness. Typically
Where's
it
the red
is
cape?
the Alabama game at home is when they'll do circle drill, and then they'll take it on the road as well. Anyway,
I had no
Alabama's band will not, or Texas's band will not be at Alabama Stadium, by the way.
what do you mean?
They returned the favor.
They
You didn't get the
They
news?
put them in upper decks when they went to Texas, and they said, we're not coming. So then Alabama said, well, we're putting your fans and the band up there. So the band's not coming.
Yeah, that's become a thing. Alabama last year had to go to Texas, and Texas only
Yeah.
allotted them top of the stadium seating.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
And
right.
so now they're returning the favor. Only 5,000 tickets allowed to Texas folks, and of those 5,000, Caleb, at the top of the stadium.
I've sat in the top of that stadium before. You can't see the edge of the end zone.
Exactly.
Wow.
There or in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville. If you're in the upper deck part of the visitor section, you cannot see the end of the end zone unless you stand up. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
There
great.
are bad seats in both of those stadiums.
I'm here for the pettiness.
Sure.
I am too. I wonder who was the mastermind behind it. Was it Nick that actually did it?
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh, okay.
615-737-1045. Maybe it was Miss Terry. Let's go to
Probably.
Swab Zombie in Nashville. Up next on our Derrick Henry discussion that has been a lively one this morning. What's up, Swab
I
Zombie?
want to swab.
Good mooning, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing gets the conversation going like suggesting Henry's about to be out, huh?
Huh?
It's true.
So, do you really think our new GM wants to be the one that lets Henry go, the Hall of Famer? I really don't. I don't think that's the case. The offense is definitely going to be better just out of all the different facets. The offensive line, obviously, it probably doesn't have depth, especially with the 17-game schedule, but it is ultimately better, which means more points, more drives, more games with the lead. And when we have the lead, what are we going to do, Ramon?
When we have the
We
lead,
are
pound the
gonna
ball.
run. We are going to run the ball with King Henry. So he's going to beat all those records. The real thing is that we should re-sign him because we're going to get him cheaper now than we would after the season. And also, Kayla,
Yes, Swab Zombie. You
we
want to
need
yell
to go
at
ahead
me?
and get Kenny.
Oh, I
Kenny's
thought you were
not
gonna yell
going
at me.
anywhere.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm not
Kenny's not-
totally against that.
Kenny-
No.
If with what we got now, they're not going to be ready in 2
Right.
years at the earliest. If we do not have Kenny, our wins are cut in half.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
I'm with you on that, actually. I'm just saying, like, you know how it is nowadays. Everybody thinks they have the next best thing.
I agree. I just think the best thing we can do, and they probably haven't because of injury concerns. Nobody's going to give Henry the value that he deserves. Bottom line. So
Oh, there he goes. There's Swab Zombie.
Swab
I
Zombie.
appreciate the call.
Thank you, Swab
He
Zombie.
was fired up.
He was fired up. But this is the thing. I think I don't want to push Derek out with the bathwater, right? As far as throwing baby out with the bathwater, as far as what next year is in front of
Right.
us. I think the topic of the conversation is these 1,600 yards, him being
Yeah.
number one in this franchise.
And there will be time next offseason to talk about what the Titans should do with Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill and Derrick Henry. That is for next offseason.
It is.
I think on this show, speaking for myself, and you all are welcome to disagree with me if we want to have a conversation about this, I would prefer to stick to things that affect this team this year because you've got an NFL team in your backyard. There's plenty to talk about in the present without having to look too far ahead.
Yeah.
Next offseason, we'll be here and we'll do offseason shows again in months, but football's back.
It is back.
I don't think you need to worry about what's happening in 2024 when 2023 hasn't even started yet,
Yeah.
personally.
But to talk about the scenarios of what's in front
Sure.
is what we're speaking of. Like, there is nothing on the line as far as next year's go. So it's a matter of Derek's legacy. Like, I kind of want to see him chase that down. I do. Earl Campbell is right in front of him, if I'm not mistaken, also by not that many yards. That can be broken
Yeah,
in
he'll
2
pass that
games. Yeah. So imagine the legacy he leaves behind. And I'll say this too. Whether you have that idea of Derek making a haul here, Derek's a Titan for life. He'll go in wherever he chooses to go in as a Titan.
Right.
Yeah.
240 yards, what he needs to pass Earl Campbell for second. Chris in Nashville is up next, 615-737-1045. What's up, Chris?
Good morning. So I would say Derrick Henry, we still need to run this offense through Derrick Henry because teams are going to prepare for us every week like they're going to try to stop Derrick Henry. If you put him in the backfield and teams stack the box, there we go, D-Hop, there we go, Burt, there we go, Chig, and, the other receivers, even Kyle Phillips, let's go. But as a decoy, and also when, they back up, run the ball. I mean, Tannehill got the power to change the play at the line of scrimmage as well. Mm-hmm. I think we should run the offense through him because it's going to make our play action better. It's going to make everything better around him because they're going to always prepare. If Derrick Henry's back there, I don't care if you think he's dropped off or not. You're going to prepare for him. So let them prepare for him, and then let us take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
No, you're exactly right.
Great take right there.
I think where you're going to see that is when you see both of them lined up together in the backfield.
Tajay and Derek, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
There is potential for this team to be a little bit more creative than it has been.
Sure.
And guess when it was created? The last time it was creative under Arthur Smith, when they were actually thriving offensively.
You want to feel hungry for a minute?
Talk to me, Will.
Let's go.
Always.
You heard about this new tradition from Tennessee football?
No.
No.
John Campbell mentioned this yesterday. There is a new post-game diner. This is a free shout-out that I will always give when you talk about Waffle House. Robert?
Yeah, we went to Waffle House Saturday when we got back. Me, Dante Thorne, Omar, Jason Jenkins. We all went to Waffle House. We got us some good eats, it was good. You feel me? I love Waffle House. Great place to eat at. I switched it up. I got the Texas melt this time with the All-Stars, so I love Waffle House.
Whoa, free shout out.
I have never been more confident about Tennessee being back.
I have never seen a bigger NIL grab.
Dang, right?
How many times did he say,
Yes.
I love Waffle House? He knew exactly what he was doing.
That
But
was
did you peep his
hilarious.
order, though? My boy said he got the patty melt with the All-Star breakfast.
Nose ball.
That's a college order right there, Will. Okay,
Dang.
like, hey, my boy grubbed. I wonder what he did with his hash browns.
All I know is that Tennessee was definitely scattering and covering the Virginia defense on Saturday.
Get the hell out. Leave right now.
615-737-1045. Besides me and my
boy.
terrible jokes, who's your "you're not that guy"? We'll find out coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. And when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. And that's because we're afraid of what we're going to hear sometimes. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem that'll become bigger later, or it could be nothing at all. Bottom line is we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. I actually hate that. It's like, man, don't try to sell me this. I know what I need to have done or what I think needs to be done. This isn't a part of that. What I'm telling you what USS will do, they'll give you a peace of mind. The United Structural System is a company that always gives you that. They have over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and here's how they've made that happen. When they come to your house, you get them problem solvers who give you a peace of mind to the customers, the homeowners. You're not getting someone who's worried about meeting a sales quota or upselling the next big thing, but someone there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. At USS, the only measure of success is how satisfied the homeowner is, not a closing ratio. Homeowners trust USS, keeping homes dry and stable for years here. They guarantee their best every single time. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855.
RKW continues, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. And coming up later in the show, Rhett Bryan stops by, breaking down the biggest matchups and the biggest advantages the Tennessee Titans have over the New Orleans Saints. We'll get to that coming up at 9 o'clock. 615-737-1045 is our number. Load up the phone lines because it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to complain. It is time for You're Not That Guy. And Ramon Foster has asked to lead off this morning's You're Not That Guy.
I have, man, because this one comes on the eve of NFL kickoff, and I love this music behind it so I can talk and to a rhythm to it and just tell y'all that this man named Sean Payton.
He's a rapper.
You just took mine.
I got it.
You took mine.
Well, Kayla, we can join in on this one, okay? We can join.
You got to leave that guy to me.
I tried, but this is such a good one. Instead of finding, just designating somebody as being not that guy, Sean Payton told Russell Wilson this week, hey, man, stop with the kissing babies and campaigning. We're here to win football games. You're not running for president. And I was just like, wow. Maybe that's what Russ needed. Like, your job is to play football and be the guy that helps wins us games. You got an extension last year. You were traded for last year. You got to be the guy. And guess what? I'm going to be the person to tell you you're not that guy and go win us some games. Stop with the politicking, man. We ain't got no time for all that. So give it to him because Sean Payton told him to his face, Bert. You're not that guy. Bert's answering calls right
So
now.
I'll add to that because that was mine, actually.
Okay.
Because I am the official Russell Wilson hater on this show.
Okay.
When he played for the Seahawks, I was told a long time ago, like, he's not that guy. He clearly was not that guy last year. Right. Exactly. And according to ESPN, Broncos head coach, like you were saying, Sean Payton, told him to stop being less of a Russell Incorporated. Will you just go Blinken, stop kissing babies? You not need to be running for public office here. And then he said he can be difficult. This is actually GM Mickey Loomis saying he can be difficult. So these guys know Russell Wilson is not that guy.
Yeah.
And they're still, going to have to coach and going to have to be the GM. But that just goes to show Russell Wilson, again, is just not that guy. And I don't think he's changing, and good luck this season.
Absolutely.
What I'm hearing is we're having a You're Not That Guy off right now because Ramon thinks Sean Payton is not that guy, and Kayla thinks that Russell Wilson is not that guy.
I mean, he did get fired too, though. Legitimately, he did get let go.
Maybe they're both just not that guy.
We're going to see. The AFC West going to be interesting.
My You're Not That Guy goes to South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer.
You taking mine?
I know. See, now we're all.
Come on.
I gave you notice yesterday that this was mine.
Come on.
I gave you audio yesterday.
I said, do we have audio for this? You said no.
No, I thought you said, do we have audio besides yours?
Fight.
Do we have any stats? Anybody? It's kind of the story of the night. Clock was wrong the whole game. We're trying to kick an onside kick to start the second half, and we got to wait on the chain crew because they're eating a hot dog. That's the only disappointing thing about tonight. So I don't know what things came out to be statistically, but not good enough, Colin.
There you go. There's Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
Robert Walsh, go ahead. It's fine.
I
have a secondary one. I have lots to complain about this weekend.
Are you sure?
I do have lots to complain about this weekend.
Because I have a bone to pick with Shane Beamer. I want to like you. I want to like you so much. Your dad was cool. He won his last game, and then he was doing the nay-nay in the locker room. We all love Beamer. We all love Big Beamer. But listen to me. You've got to stop being such a whiny baby when you lose. Every time this guy loses, it's somebody else's fault. He can never take ownership. Oh, the chain crew's eating hot dogs. Buddy, you gave up 9 sacks. Your team gave up. North Carolina had 17 sacks last year in college football. They doubled that. They got half of what they got last year in one game against you. And you want to blame the chain crew. Oh, the clock was running all night. The clock was running all night because you guys are getting tackled in bounds behind the line of scrimmage. That's what happens. The clock runs. So I just, Shane Beamer, I want you to be cool. I want you to be cool because your dad was cool. It's like hanging out with, I used to hang out with your dad all the time. He was a cool dude. And his son is just a weenie. Stop whining so much.
No pun intended.
Trust me, you're not that guy.
Just a weenie, huh?
Yeah, tune in next week when South Carolina chain gang administrator Joey Chestnut helps the South Carolina chains stay on time.
Maybe he could break a record.
Honestly, Joey Chestnut. Now, that'd be smart for Shane.
Yeah.
Just get guys that can eat hot dogs really quickly. Just go recruit at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and that could be your first down marker guy.
A glizzy killer whale.
Yeah.
Hey, dog.
Joey Chestnut ate 78 more hot dogs than you had rushing yards last week, Shane Beamer, because you had -2.
The glizzy.
What's the record? 76 hot dogs?
Yeah, it is.
Best athlete of our generation, Joey Chestnut, by the way.
There we go.
All right, I'll pivot real quick then.
Nah.
I'm going to go for Clarence Hill on the internet, who tweets over the weekend as Deion Sanders goes with Colorado to Amon G. Carter Stadium as the TCU Horned Frogs lost to the Colorado Buffaloes. Before the game, there was an explicit chant coming from the student section of TCU towards Deion Sanders. It was expletive you, Deion Sanders.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The tweet from Clarence Hill was, you think opposing fans tell Nick Saban or Mac Brown this before the game, or is that reserved for Deion Sanders? I've been on sidelines before, and I haven't heard it. Clarence, I don't know what sidelines you've been on, maybe for high school games between really nice, polite schools that don't know each other, or maybe in small towns everybody's nice to each other, and I don't know what sidelines you've been on, Clarence, but those explicit chants happen genuinely every single time Nick Saban or John Calipari go to an SEC school.
Oh, my.
Clarence Hill. Deion Sanders isn't really that different from all these other coaches. He's just a really big public figure that a lot of people love to hate, and that's okay. Clarence Hill.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
Really not that deep.
Close.
Clarence was, I believe he's a Dallas Cowboys writer, so he probably has a soft spot in his heart
For
Deion. I can't believe nobody should be hollering at him.
Remember,
Everybody gets hollered at, bro.
remember
Have you been to a college football game? I used to say the most obscene things to people.
I did, too.
I'm serious.
Tennessee now has plans to counteract it. They'll play really loud band music and they'll turn up the Pride of the Southland band when they're playing in order to drown out those chants. Because it's not a great look. I'm not condoning it, obviously. I'm just saying it does happen to genuinely every big coach and big program.
Yes, 100%.
It'll happen to Kirby when he comes to Knoxville this year.
I mean, they're kind of offering it up too, because usually the home team comes out, and then as they're coming out and everybody's cheering, the opposing team will also come out.
Yep.
So then everybody switches to boo, boo. So you don't want anybody to say bleep you, Deion. Just wait to come out, sneak out, hang out there, ride your little scooter out there or something.
I will say this. I am curious as how many Titans fans still are annoyed by the fact that Deion Sanders did not know who Kevin Byard was.
It'll never go
I would
away.
love to know that.
It'll never
just
go away.
what
It's
the
true.
fan base, because Kevin Byard's beloved here. He's the mayor of Murfreesboro,
That'll never go away.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah, he also danced on the star.
I like to take a strong stance and say this is the famous Don Draper from Mad Men sign. When people chastise you like this, that's what the money's for. Deion's okay with that.
Well,
he embraces it.
Yeah, that is a famous saying right there that I love.
He'll be
man,
okay.
I got booed on the field. Guess what? Don Draper. That's what the money's for. You be all right. You tough, right?
Yeah, it's this wild notion that these major figures in sports who love to be villains can't fend for themselves. Deion Sanders was a villain in his own city when he played in Atlanta.
Loved it.
Because he went and played a regular season football game on the same weekend the Braves were in the postseason. I don't know. I mean, Deion Sanders has been a villain most of his career. I think he's okay with that.
He embraces
I think he's okay with that 100%.
615-737-1045 if you want to join in and complain that someone is not that guy in the world of sports or not in the world of sports. Not up to me to decide. Ali leads us off here in Nashville. Ali always brings it. What's up, Ali?
What up, guys? All right. First of all, before I say this, I was rooting on the Vols this past weekend. And I was in Vols gear. But Vol Twitter and the whole Vols fan base, you're not that guy. You have won nothing. You're bragging about a meaningless Orange Bowl trophy. Guess what? Nobody cares. Stop attacking people just because they have a bad take on the Vols. The Vols will choke at the end of the year like they did last year against a no team that they should not be losing against. Like, get used to it. You're not that guy, Vols fan base.
This is the same Ali who picked Tennessee to win the SEC East last year.
my God.
And watched his Buckeyes only put up 23 on Indiana over the weekend. I'd be more worried about Kyle McCord if I were you,
He
Ali.
prefaced it by saying I wore Vols stuff. Well, I went to UT, graduated there. You'll never catch me in Ohio State stuff.
Ever.
Ali,
Ever.
I'm surprised he wore Vols.
you're not that guy, Ali, to betray
Nashville's
Ohio
team.
State like that.
I respect it.
I mean, to be fair, though, Vol Twitter is a little bit nutso.
We knew that, though.
But that's what he was
knew
saying.
that.
He didn't say you guys, as like fans particularly. He said Vol Twitter.
Oh, we'll claim
I
it.
thought, yeah, we claim that. It wasn't Vol Twitter.
He said Vol. He
That's all good.
he mentioned Vol Twitter.
That's fair.
For what it's worth, Ali is full of hate. Every time he calls up here, he lets me know
Ali
bleep
brings
the
it.
Ravens. So
He does?
every single before I can even go zone what you want to talk about, he's like bleep the Ravens. Oh, it's Ali. All right, cool. Let me get you in here, buddy.
Ali,
He
call it
understands the
anytime.
show.
Yeah, call in
The premise of
anytime.
it.
One of our
Ali.
finest.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Tim is in Nashville up next, ready to complain at 615-737-1045. What's up, Tim? Tim.
Don't do this, Tim.
Tim, are you there?
Freaking bum.
Timmy.
Swing and a miss.
Tim,
Strike one for Tim.
Timmy.
Come on, Tim.
We'll give Tim a second try coming up in a moment after Rob in Nashville for You're Not That Guy. Hello, Rob.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning?
We're
Good.
great.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, so I have to say this. Middle Tennessee, I don't know the coach. I don't know what game he was watching. He was saying he proud of his guys for competing. I don't know what game he watching, but they suck. I mean, Crimson Tide put it down on them. They didn't even compete. He said he was proud of them competing. You could take a high school team out there and beat Middle Tennessee. They played so awful. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Oh, man.
Was he going at stock?
Rob in Nashville.
They did.
Going after MTSU.
That's the first for us right
It's a little
there.
harsh.
Nobody
Well,
goes
yeah.
at MTSU like that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
didn't realize they had a hate club like that. Rob does.
I was the first to say, and I got that check on that bet, by the way.
Hey, now.
The combined 52.5, I believe.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Alabama's angry. This is the worst game Middle Tennessee could open up with at this point.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
Straight up.
they'll be fine.
That'll be all right.
They'll be fine.
There you go. Eric in Nashville is next. 615-737-1045. Good morning, Eric.
Come on, E.
So, guys, mine is the medical profession, and here's why. Guys, I'm going to be 60 years old later this month. I'm dealing with some health issues and pain in my joints. But I tell you what, guys, the frustrating thing is it's too long to get into, so I won't get into all that. But, guys, 6 years ago, I had a colonoscopy because you're supposed to have those once every 10 years when you get to be that age.
Yeah.
But after 4 years, I had to have another one. Why? Because the doctors told me, well, you do that at home. We don't trust that, so you got to come in and do another one. So I did one 2 years ago for colon cancer. Everything was good. So guess what, guys? I've got to have another colonoscopy 2 weeks from today. Reason being, the doctors detected I got low iron in my blood. So this is going to be my third colonoscopy in the last 6 years. The one thing I don't want to hear afterwards says, boy, after this, you won't have to come back and do this for 10 years. Don't be telling me that when I've had 3 in the last 6 years. Guys, y'all take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Eric.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
It's not a fun process having a colonoscopy.
Oh,
Speaking from
my.
personal experience on that.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord.
Eric,
Again, I'm 80 years old. But
yeah, Eric, bless you, because, yeah, nobody wants to be going through that.
No, my brother. Oh, Lord.
But glad you are putting your health first, though.
And if
That's
you want
important.
to, we can go fight them if you want to. I got a couple swings in me, E.
You should know them. You're in the medical profession, don't you?
Yeah.
You were a doctor
Dr.
today, so
Ramon.
you should be able to hit
the
those
doctor
people
is
up.
in.
Did diagnose a bone bruise that Travis Kelce has. So, yes, absolutely.
the song Calling Dr. Love, Calling Dr. Moan.
Dr. Moon.
Calling Dr. Moan.
Yeah.
Aaron in Nashville hopefully brings us back on the rails. 615-737-1045. What's up, Aaron?
What's going on, fellas?
Not much. Good morning.
Good morning. So my take is, you're not that guy. I want to go with Billy Napier from Florida. And I'm a UT Vols fan. It's like, Florida's still a powerhouse. It's a big brother, little brother thing. I just don't understand how you lose to Utah, opening week, man. So I just want to go with Billy Napier, man. You're not that guy.
You know what?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's fair.
Because they're not better than Utah right now.
Yeah, and they talking trash, talking about how small Utah Stadium was. And I think we also are missing a real strong candidate this week. Bryan Kelly. Going on his talk
And
show.
his family.
Talking about how he was going to whoop Florida State's behind. And they got drug on Monday night. What was it? Sunday night. Yeah, he went on his little talk show before the game and said how they was going to beat Florida State. And, he was boosting up the LSU fan base because they're donating so much money and stuff like that. And guess what happened? You taking an L in front of everybody. Embarrassing. So I think, Bert, if it's all right with you, can we please add him to the list of you're not that guy too?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
My issue with that is not him saying what he said.
Okay.
He was quoted saying, we're going to beat the heck out of Florida State, which was a quote that was surfacing last year. The problem is that he then denied that he said that and said yesterday, quote, that's not something I would ever say. Like, I don't have any issue with a coach telling his team we're going to beat the opponent.
Yeah.
Just own it. Like, you don't have to then regret it later just because you lost. Like, just own that. It's fine.
That's fair. You should be able to stand on your words these days. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, yeah, I said it. I was in the moment.
There's literally a recording of him saying it, too. He's like, well, that's not something I would. Oh, sorry. That's not something I would ever say. Sounds like a riverboat captain from a movie that I wouldn't watch.
He's not that guy either.
I got one special one. Y'all can add him on Twitter, too. Robert Ayers. Today is his birthday. And we're supposed to be celebrating him. And, he showed up on the Zone account as Coach Ayers and everything. Guess what? His at is at Robert Ayers on social media. You should go at him on his birthday today and tell him he is not that guy. Okay?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
You're not that guy. Yeah, that was suggested by me. I should make him not that guy. Okay.
Surprised we got through this with anybody not talking about Butch Jones crying.
So that just did happen on Twitter. At Ramon Kayla Will, at BamaGrad10 says, Butch Jones, not that guy.
No. Never that guy.
When you have to be consoled by your players, you're not that guy.
You first got to make sure you don't lose the game before you can win the game.
Stunning analysis.
Oh, Butch.
Ramon's so happy talking about
I'm
Butch.
getting response back from me making Robert Ayers.
Of course you are.
You already got a text back about that.
You did it on purpose. You know what you were going to get in response.
Yeah.
You knew that. Pushing buttons. Like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Shout out to my guy, G-Dub, baby. We got him. But Butch Jones, that did delight me, too. I also am picking Vanderbilt this weekend.
Yeah, against Wake Forest.
Straight up or against the spread?
You are not. Are you being...
I am.
Are you...
You're picking Vandy to go to Wake Forest and beat the Demon Deacons.
Yes, I am.
On purpose.
Yes,
Look
I am.
at you.
Oh, wow.
You know why. Hey, you know why. Don't you?
Well, no.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yes,
yeah.
I do.
Yeah, you know why.
I don't... This is an actual
I know
medium
why.
that goes to very different
The
types
reason,
of people.
Kayla, is because Ramon's Dave Clawson hate runs far deeper than his Vanderbilt hate.
It does.
Okay.
It does. And I was told to let that go by the big man, Coach
He
Foreman. and I
refuses to ever. If Dave Clawson
I get it.
was coaching a Little League baseball team of 8-year-olds, he would find a way to cheer for the 8-year-olds that were playing against him.
Yeah.
If Dave Clawson was running a charity 5K, he would root for everyone else and try to put a laxative in his coffee. That way he can't make it and he's got the runs in another way.
Yeah, you know that. And he's a great guy, but as far as
You don't care.
Oh, sure. Yeah, just cut it off there.
615-737-1045. Coming up next, the highlights of a new AP poll in college football and where Tennessee ranks coming up.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. And you guys hear me say it all the time, man, since I've been doing this with Hiller, doing business with Hiller, man. I use Hiller. They are one of the best companies I've trusted to come into my house, man. And first and foremost, they're professional, experienced. They have trustworthy technicians that come into your home and leave it better and cleaner than they found it. You know those little blue covers you put on the bottom of your shoe? If they don't put that in, your experience has to come free because that's what they live by. All techs also have background checks and are drug tested. These are people who care about the homeowners, their community, their partners, vendors, and employees. Caring is a major theme for the business, which is why they respect your home the way they do and keep you updated with all things that they're capable of when they come out to your house. They make sure that they stand on their work. True transparency pricing also is another reason. No hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill. Hiller is one of the best when it comes down to plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. And right now, as it stands, it's about to start getting cooler outside. So start thinking about your heating system. You don't want to experience breakdowns when that first temperature drop happens. So it's time to get that heating tune up, taken up right now. And happy for you guys with Hiller, it's half off month at Hiller with up to 50% off on selected add-ons. Simply go to happyhiller.com if you need any work done to your house. Again, happyhiller.com, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
It is back. Join 104.5 The Zone's 3HL this Thursday at Buffalo Wild Wings in Hendersonville for our first Titans football feast of the season. That is tomorrow. Go ahead and clear out some time for your late lunch. Stop by for your chance to win Titans tickets and giveaways each hour thanks to Miller Lite and Buffalo Wild Wings. You can see the full schedule by visiting 1045thezone.com/TFF. 615-737-1045 is our number here on your Wednesday morning edition of RKW. And I must say that with the hot barbecue flavor back at Buffalo Wild Wings, I will absolutely be going by.
You want to hear something?
What?
My wife, every time she goes in there, she's like, can you mix the buffalo with the barbecue sauce that we got?
It's back.
It's back?
Hot barbecue is
Big
back.
Key. Hey, you and Will. Hey.
We're going to run it.
like string a bell right now.
That's
hey,
right.
We back up.
I want you to put the word out there that we back up. Me with the Buffalo Wild Wings hat on.
She loves that crap, man.
That is a shout out that I will always give. Buffalo Wild Wings is outstanding.
The hot barbecue. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, then. That wasn't a free shout out, but that was a preference.
What? Hot barbecue?
No, I'm just trying to clean up the shout out right there.
No, it's
they're
a
gonna be
Titans
there.
football
Yeah,
feast. It's a
they're gonna be
sponsored
there.
event with 104.5 The Zone.
They do. Now, we don't get to, we as a show don't
Talk
get to
that talk,
benefit from
Kayla.
it.
Oh, we
Talk
can
that
if
talk,
we go.
man.
No, we as a show in our hours.
I'll be
In
there.
our hours that we're functioning in.
Well, they're not
We
open.
don't get to see that.
We need to put a truck outside.
Right?
And just put a kitchen in it. Anybody
I want a
wanna come
brunch.
cook? Want a brunch?
I want
keep
brunch
talking
on
about it.
Fridays.
We keep talking about it. We'll get it. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep doing that.
You're
Squeak
the
the
guy
whip.
that can make it happen, Ramon.
Don't tempt me
Are
with a
you?
good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me with a good time. You're right.
Brunch with your besties. Brunch with your besties.
Brunch with your breasties. We either got that
With
cigars
your
with savages
breasties?
too. We got to do that one. Well, you guys coming to cigars with savages?
Yeah, if I get an invite.
You always get an invite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I never even
thought-
know that existed.
I thought Slay said I wasn't allowed because I stressed too much during Tennessee games.
That is also true.
That's why I'm saying I don't know if I got an invite.
we still don't have the barbecue. That's
don't
my
have
first
the
thing that I want to get
Well,
accomplished.
It's slowing down for me now,
Okay.
okay? The kids' sports is slowing down for me now. So and it's fire burning time too.
NSC's on an international break. I mean,
There we go.
Might be do it.
might be do it.
Okay.
I'll be in
Titans-
Knoxville Saturday. But.
Titans home next weekend.
Yes, they are.
We can do a link up next Saturday, possibly.
Interesting.
That could be
Put
do
it on the calendar as a TBA.
That could be do it.
TBD.
Write it in pencil.
Okay. Yes. That way we can
Make sure
adjust
you have
to
an
it.
eraser just in case.
Yeah, 100%.
There you go. But anyway, if you want that food, you can just go hang out with 3HL.
I'll be there.
Get some hot barbecue wings. I might make an appearance too.
I'll be there.
Slay in the chat. He's always lurking in the FNN Bank chat. Says, I just said we can't watch the game with you. I know, that's what I'm saying. I can't have cigars and whiskey with the boys.
Keisha just sent me, let's go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Glad to see she's actually listening to the
See,
show today.
JP Simpson likes it. Brunch with your besties.
Brunch with your besties.
On Fridays.
And Cigars and Savages is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great time. I'll be in Gainesville for the Florida game. Otherwise, I'd come over for that one. I'm going to make the trip down there.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Next Saturday is a Florida game.
Mm-hmm. I'll be down there in person to see Tennessee beat Florida in the Swamp for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, that's right. You won't be here. That Savage just said, y'all just on here lying. You're right. On here lying.
No,
You
I'm
are
trying to
going
get
down
people to
for
go
it?
hang out with 3HL in Hendersonville. Those football feasts are a great time.
They are. They are.
Really fun.
I've gone. Let me tell you, 3HL bring the crowd out. If y'all
Oh,
had
yeah.
an opportunity to go
Absolutely.
to the Buffalo Wild Wings link up, it seems like almost any link up they have.
Yeah.
They have a link up at a spa.
Crushing it.
And it sounds
They
like a
did have a
friggin'
link up
party
at
out
a spa.
there.
Every year.
Yes.
Moments Peace.
Well, I'll be at the one in Hendersonville, though. Get my wife some of those hot barbecue wings for free.
You go boneless or bone in?
For free. Good Lord.
Keisha goes bone in. 100%. Traditional. Yes.
Solid.
100%. She knows ball.
There's no wrong
I
answer.
got a savage for a wife. You hear me?
I'll take
Boneless
the
wings
surprise
here.
out of my voice.
Absolutely, man.
I
By the
love
way,
boneless.
saw young Pate this weekend, too.
Yeah.
In Tennessee Orange, Kayla.
Peyton got her first Tennessee football experience. She did not break up with me. We made it through. We beat the
That's
gets too
positive.
mad at sports allegations. We made it out.
That was the first event.
Yeah.
Step
Keep our
one.
powder dry.
Checkpoint one. No, we're good.
Y'all are good?
I still got brownie points from going with her to a Jonas Brothers concert, which I secretly really enjoyed myself. So
I was just
Oh,
telling
boy.
somebody about the Jonas Brothers. The
yeah,
other
Sophie
day.
Turner and Joe Jonas are getting divorced also.
Yeah,
Love is dead.
Game of
The
Thrones.
bad girl
R.I.P.
from
to
Game
Love.
of Thrones. I can't believe
Queen
she
of the
betrayed-
North.
Love her.
betrayed her family like
Duke
that.
in Colorado moved into the AP top 25
Yep.
yesterday.
Team Duke.
No surprise.
Biggest upsets of the weekend. number 21 and 22. Florida State got 3 first-place votes. And Florida State is in the top 5 at number 4 for the first time since the beginning of the 2017 season. Tennessee moves up to number 9. She's a beauty, that number 9.
I'll take it.
Moving on up. Yep. Still early. Still a lot of things can happen in these polls. I think it's funny that people like to attack the poll voters with whatever, vote you have. It doesn't matter what vote you have. They'll attack you.
They will.
And it's funny because, it's week 2. Like, a lot has got to happen. A lot of these teams are playing cupcakes right now, first and foremost. You don't know what's going to happen once you get in conference play. That's when the real fun begins. But, oh, my God, people get so torn up or so happy, either or, with fan bases in these AP votes. It's okay.
Some of them deserve to be roasted. Your poll was good, but some of them deserve to be roasted.
I got a college take at some point I'm going to have to make about what you just said, the top 9.
Okay.
Us being top 9, I'm hoping for our sake, the same thing that Urban Meyer and Nick Saban did to the SEC, to Fulmer, to Wright that was at Georgia and everything is happening to those universities moving forward. Mm-hmm. Tennessee got shunned and kicked out because Urban and Nick came in and really killed it. And right now, Florida's dealing with what we dealt with, and also South Carolina and other schools. I love the fact there's a 3-year turnaround when you're in the top 10 2 years in a row for the Vols.
If you want to complain about Kayla's poll, tweet the show Not Heard. That way we can roast you on the air for it. So.
I'll roast him, Will. I have no problem coming at me.
I know.
I will stick you in a hole and I will bury you.
Wow. Okay.
That's right.
There we go.
I had to do it to my own Washington State Cougars last year.
Coming up, Rhett Bryan joins us with that level of energy as well, talking Titans and Saints coming up next.
What's going on? 901 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Tough injury news in Kansas City as Chiefs head coach Andy Reid told reporters that star tight end Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee at practice yesterday, and his status is now uncertain for tomorrow night against the Lions. The Chiefs believe Travis Kelce's ACL is intact, and Aaron Rappaport reported earlier today that it is a bone bruise Kelce is suffering with. So now the Chiefs are potentially down 2 stars on both sides of the ball as Travis Kelce might miss the game and defensive lineman Chris Jones missing the game amid his contract discussions. In Arizona, head coach Jonathan Gannon is being coy on who's going to start versus the Commanders on Sunday. Their offensive coordinator Drew Petzing wouldn't divulge whether or not they're going to give Dobbs or rookie Clayton Tune the reps with first team going into week 1. Here was Petzing earlier in the week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a plan in place in terms of how we want to handle that. Certainly, we're not going to be completely forward with that in the media, but I think it's something that we certainly have talked through and are prepared for, and I think everybody's ready to go.
Into Indianapolis, as Jonathan Taylor's absence has created a hole in the running back room for the Colts. Head coach Shane Steichen said they're going to divvy up the workload between Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, and rookie Evan Hull, playing the proverbial hot hand approach. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
When you look at the time, it's the 4th and final hour already on this Wednesday morning edition of RKW. We're powered by All 4 Seasons Garage Doors, and we have got a fully excited, prepped, and ready Rhett, Bryan here in the studio with us. We're ready to go on a Wednesday morning here for 60 more minutes. We've got Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. Good morning, Rhett, Bryan.
Good morning to all. I am like the finest pre-lit Christmas tree you go by right before the holidays.
Yeah.
You assemble, you plug that rascal in the wall. It's a thing of beauty. I'm lit.
Ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Where does the Superdome and New Orleans rank on your list of coolest environments and places to broadcast from?
You know, I don't know about where I'd rank it, but it certainly has a place in there somewhere just because, golly, man, I mean, I'm quite a bit older than all of y'all, and so many things have been done in the Superdome and it's in existence. I mean, I remember seeing Evel Knievel jumping over school buses and, stuff from ABC's Wide World of Sports. But, I mean, everything, you think of how many Super Bowls have been played there, how many Sugar Bowls have been, major events. Yeah. And, I was just talking to Ramon here prior to us popping on. The Titans have always had good fortune down there against the Saints. And, Titans tonight debut is this evening with Keith Bullock, Mr. Monday Night, who, Monday night in September of 2007. He manifested the nickname himself and then went and balled out with 3 picks of Drew Brees that night in a big Monday Night Football win over the Saints. But, and I was just describing, that trip was kind of weird because that was our first trip down there post-Katrina. And just seeing all the things in the lower 9th Ward that were still in disarray and may still be to this day for all I know.
Yeah.
And how loud that crowd was to begin that night because they needed that so much in a community that was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. But yeah, I mean, New Orleans is, that is as different a place as you'll ever go. And it's got a vibe of its own. The thing that always freaks me out about New Orleans is that thing is below sea level.
Yeah.
And it sinks below sea level several inches per year.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's just sitting in a bowl.
It's weird.
That's why all those levees and all that stuff had to be reconstructed by the Corps of Engineers down there. But yeah, now there's some real Cajun food down there.
Oh my gosh!
And
Thinking
what do
about
they call them? The
Beignets from Cafe Du Monde.
I love those.
Cafe Du Monde. Not very good at a French accent.
Okay.
I'm not joking, don't worry. I was trying to do a French accent.
For a second, I thought, like, Heimlich? But yeah, Cafe Du Monde is world famous for the beignets, and they are delightful.
You know what? Anytime I've ever played in New Orleans at the Superdome, it's an experience every single time. And I love and I hated it. Absolutely every time. And I'm sure you guys, you've been there, you understand what I mean. They care about the game, but it's a party that they care about inside of the game. Sure. Winning, losing, or just a draw. That crowd is no telling what you're going to see, who you're going to see, how they're going to be acting, the amount of decibels that bounce off that friggin' roof, Rhett B.
And what they've ingested to do all that.
Oh, my God.
Prior to the game and maybe even during.
The crawfish ain't the only thing that's boiling in that place.
No. Crawfish etouffee.
Etouffee, sir. But it is... It's a great place to win, but it's also a challenging place to start a game at because that crowd gonna rock, Rhett B.
And that's exactly what's going to happen Sunday.
Okay.
It's their home opener for the year.
Yeah.
And let's think about this, because if you look at these two teams, they mirror each other a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they finished 7-10, just like the Titans did. They had problems putting points on the board from time to time. They had turnover issues, which, I mean, you get when Jameis Winston's throwing the ball a lot for you.
That's fair.
But hey, they brought him back, and he was glad to come back as the backup in this. Interceptions aside, he's only missed like 4 games in the 9 seasons he's been playing.
He's been more steady than you think.
The thing that I think they liked about him and bringing him back is he's clearly a leader and, great teammate and all those things. You can say what you want about him eating W's and, all that stuff. He's got a goofy side to him, but he's clearly got to be a solid guy or he wouldn't have been in the league as long as he had and stay here behind Derek Carr, who Dennis Allen knows very well from their time together in the Raiders organization. I think the biggest storyline in this whole thing on their side is how they distribute the ball in Pete Carmichael's offense with no Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
This would be like going to play the 49ers without Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
So much a percentage of their offense goes through number 41's hands, and number 41's not going to be out there.
He was there this weekend. He ain't going to be there this week.
Yeah, he was at the Vols game.
He was at the Vols game. Watching number 6 do the same things he was doing.
That's a valid point.
There it is. There it is.
Point. There we go, Rhett B. But this game, to your point, is going to be fascinating. 2 quarterbacks that want to dual and prove themselves. Derek Carr got the extension, but there's also other situations that are involved in this game too. What is a Michael Thomas after 2 years of not getting any snaps?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's missed most of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't anticipate that we will see the same Michael Thomas that we saw in a window of 2 or 3 seasons where I would say he was a top 5 receiver.
All pro, Rhett.
I mean, dude was a machine. Yep. So what is he in this? And finally healthy? That's a great question.
Finally healthy is the biggest thing.
Traquan Smith will not be in this game. I think he was their number 4 receiver. He had surgery a few days ago. He'll be out on this. Chris Olave, though, second-year man from Ohio State, had a great rookie season, over 1,000 yards. I think he had about 77 catches, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Though the danger in this, for me, is tight end Juwan Johnson, converted wide receiver, playmaker, and let's not forget, Foster Moreau comes back to the Bayou where he played for the Bayou Bengals at LSU. And Jimmy Graham is back there. So they've got some weapons in that part of it. And then when we're talking about running back and no Alvin Kamara. So Kendre Miller, another draft pick of theirs.
Yeah.
Frog. I'll say that in honor of Coach Mack. TCU, Frog. He has a hamstring. Don't know what his commitment and level and any restrictions on him will be. But I heard you talking about it, since this is Scout Meeting Wednesday, about Jamal Williams coming from Detroit, which I was kind of surprised they didn't keep him.
Me too.
Power back, red zone efficient. And Kayla, you had a great point about Derek Carr not being as good in the red zone, so this will help him there. But guy had 17 rushing touchdowns last year.
That's a lot.
And on several carries. He had quite a few carries in 2022. But so they've got weapons. They really do. It's just How is it distributed in Pete Carmichael's offense without their star guy who can do so much?
Sure.
Yeah.
Rhett Bryan with us in studio here for his weekly visit on the show. We will get to the aging defensive line for the New Orleans Saints with Rhett. Talk about that. A group up front on the offensive side of the ball where we talked about the 4 first-round picks earlier in the show, Rhett. Certainly guys that you vetted in the pre-draft process when you talk about Trevor Penning and Cesar Ruiz recently, in addition to some other veterans that joined that group as well. We'll dive into all that with Rhett Bryan as Scout Meeting Wednesday continues, as well as the Titans' point of view in this and who they could have available once again at wide receiver. What a Hopkins and Burks duo might look like against a very good New Orleans Saints secondary. Rhett Bryan with us in studio as we continue in hour 4 on RKW.
It's football season. It's time to switch to Zen Sports. It's that simple. The fastest growing sports book in Tennessee, changing the betting bonus game with their cash rewards program. When you sign up for Zen Sports with the referral code, earn a welcome bonus that gives you 5% cash back on your total betting volume for your first 15 days of betting. 5%. Think about that for a second. It is insane. Zen Sports also offers an incredible, easy to navigate mobile app also right in your hand, so you can find the bets you want to make on the games you want to bet on, and they guarantee you won't find an easier way to build parlays too. What are you waiting for? Stop wasting time and your money on other sportsbook when you could earn real cash rewards with Zen Sports. Download today on the App Store or at zensports.com. Your wallet will thank you later. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Wednesday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. And Wednesday morning at 9:20 means that you hear the musical choices and stylings of one Rhett Bryan, who is ready to go this morning.
He is ready.
I'm going to skip the
Rick
extra cup of
Derringer
coffee.
with the aisle music for one Hulk Hogan.
Hulkster running down for
With that
WrestleMania.
old double
right there.
eagle world championship belt posing.
Rhett, the real American, in studio with us.
Woo!
Yeah.
Fighting for what's right.
Mm-hmm. I feel strong about right and wrong.
That's right.
There we go.
What?
Rhett, Pro Football Focus ranks the Saints defensive line as number 29 in the NFL, but the names that New Orleans has on its offensive line are certainly bigger than a group you would expect to be ranked that low. And Cam Jordan specifically, even at 34 years old, can still go.
He absolutely can. Spent his whole career there. 8 Pro Bowls, 115 career sacks. That tells you what kind of career that guy's had, okay? And to your point, they have, first of all, Dennis Allen, Joe Woods is the coordinator, but Dennis Allen has a hand in that, right? They got some trees up there. Physical. I don't care how old they are or whatever. So you got Cam Jordan. You have Carl Granderson. You have Peyton Turner. Tano Passanio, who's 6'7". Isaiah Foskey, the rookie from Notre Dame, who's 6'5" plus. And the guy that I think is one of the keys of this thing, I don't think he'll start, but we will see him. Bryan Bresee, the rookie D tackle from Clemson. He's 6'5" plus 300 pounds. They are some monsters up front. And I'm glad you started with them because if there's one place where I think the Titans could try to take advantage of a situation, it's the Saints' run defense. Their defense is good. When you go through what they've got, they're good.
They're top 5 numbers-wise, right?
They gave 130.5 yards rushing, gave that up per game last year. Not great tackling and some sieves in some places along that line. I think that's one of the reasons why they got Bryan Bresee is to kind of choke that stuff down a little bit. But you go through the three levels of the defense. Demario Davis is a tackling machine.
Dog.
He has Pete Werner and Zach Bond there with him now.
Dog.
And then they have big guys in the secondary. I mean, you're talking Paulson Adebo from Stanford, Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus May, Alante Taylor. All of those guys are 6 or 6'1" or 6'2". Honey Badger's the shortest guy, and he's 5'9", but he's the Honey Badger. They got dogs all over this thing, and so why I say obviously the run defense, that's 2022. It could be different in 2023, but with what they want to do with Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears, I would think that would be a key point of emphasis.
Yeah. And we spoke about that earlier in the show, Rhett, about the history Derrick Henry could set this season. Little over 1,600 yards, what he needs to break the Titans' all-time rushing record and beat Eddie George to that mark. Needs about 240 yards to pass Earl Campbell for second on that all-time list. But I feel like we may see more Tajay Spears drives. And if the Titans like what he does enough, specifically in tempo and 2-minute scenarios, do you see a scenario where there are entire drives where the Titans try to keep Derrick Henry fresh late in the game and late in the season and just ride the hot hand, so to speak, with Tajay's role in this offense?
With the hot hand theory in mind, I mean, if I know anything about Mike Vrabel, first of all, I know he is not going to be worried about who gets what carry. But I think you could see those scenarios. I think what Titans fans are going to get excited about is I think you're going to see scenarios where you're going to see 22 and 32 on either side of the hips of Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
I think you can see that. And how they use that is yet to be seen with Tim Kelly's offense. That's the stuff I get excited about and seeing what the options they have there. But Tajay, I'm so excited for him because he's coming back home. He's been in the Superdome a time or two, and I imagine he's probably wound up tighter than a cheap watch right now.
Right?
But yeah, I think more so with 390 touches, I think is what Derrick had last year total.
Right.
Certainly there's an emphasis on trying to keep some tread on the tires with Derrick in this, as he'll be 30 years old in January. We know that. but he's still the guy, and it's just how well Tajay complements him. And, using Tajay out of the backfield, I think is going to be a lot of this. But the guy can run the football, too. We've seen it.
Hey, Rhett, what are real expectations for this offensive line in the first few games? Considering you always have to have some game experience meshing together as a new O-line, which this is.
Well, it's just the picture hasn't developed yet. I mean, when you think about this line left to right, and we knew it was going to be this way, Aaron Brewer, and he told us at the podium on Monday, the plan was always for me to be the center, to work in, or be, work in jumbo tight end packages, because he's athletic. Dude can turn a backflip like nobody's business, and he's a big guy.
That's a positive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's the one mainstay that comes back on this, especially knowing that Nicholas Petit-Frere is on suspension now. So you have Andre Dillard coming in, who did not play a whole lot of snaps. I think he played, 32 snaps last year?
Yeah.
He has something to prove. Peter Skoronski could be arguably the anchor of this thing in this first couple of games, just because he looks like he's been ready for week one for a while now. And then Daniel Brunskill at right guard, who played all over the place for the 49ers, finally gets a place to settle in. And then Chris Hubbard, who you know very well, settles in as the right tackle until NPF comes back. I just think the thing that they're mainly trying to do is to keep number 17 upright and healthy, because when he's not, and we saw that last year, it didn't turn out too well.
Sure.
I can't imagine what Mike Vrabel must be ready to run through a wall with this for week one. And he never makes it about him, but, I mean, he won his 50th game on November the 17th of last year. That's the last game they won. It's been a minute.
Wow.
It's time to get off that snide.
Wow.
And that was last year, but it's time to put one in the W column.
Sure. Time for number 51.
Time for number 51.
Mm-hmm.
Rhett, for a couple years ago, let's go back about 2 years or so.
Okay.
There was one name in particular that kept coming up the same way former employee Todd Downing's was too. This one particular guy who's still here has kind of made a reputation as one of those things where you don't even mention his name no more, Rhett B. And that's Shane Bowen. The job that he's done as defensive coordinator for this team, man. And I know the bodies always matter as far as who's playing positions, but the way he's crafted this defense to have an identity, growth as a coach, gotta commend it. The same way we hyped up, not hyped up, but gave roses to Coach Terrell Williams, Big T.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to kind of put a quick spotlight on Shane Bowen, because his best thing to do is just back up out of this thing, Rhett, and just continue to dial him up the way he has.
And you bring that up like an offensive lineman would bring it up, because when you're doing your best job in that deal, nobody's calling number 73 for a holding penalty.
Oh my gosh!
You're just doing your job, and things are working.
Yeah. But he had a lot of questions surrounding him, right? And I think it's okay, as we talked about every coach. We talked more about Tim Kelly and Coach Vrabel and Rand Carthon.
But that's one that should be mentioned.
That's right. Yeah, man. And especially going on the road because there will be a lot, I feel like, this week of tug of war in week one, because nobody really knows. The best thing you can do to try to win a game is play a solid defense.
Well, how many times have you heard week one is a liar? And part of it is 3 preseason games. Not a lot of guys playing in those preseason games. Shortened OTAs and things in the offseason. Things that have kind of you don't really see who's what till about week 5, after that first month has clicked off of the regular season schedule, because there's going to be scores on Sunday that's going to go, what? What happened? How did that, I think about that a couple of years ago when and it was because of the hurricane or whatever, there was a displaced game. And so the Packers played the Saints in Jacksonville, and Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns. 4 of them in the first half, and beat Aaron Rodgers, beat the pants off of him.
Killed him, yeah.
That was a week one kind of thing. So, but with Shane Bowen, golly, he's got to be excited. Jeff Simmons is healthy and back. Tier Tart looks like a man possessed. Danico's still there.
Yeah.
And guess what? Harold Landry's coming back.
Yeah.
And, we have Arden Key now.
Yep.
And Rashad Weaver's put on some physical strength and an NFL body in this thing and is looking to prove more. I think the biggest thing right now is how it plays out in the inside linebacker stuff opposite Azeez Al-Shire. Because the rest of it looks pretty doggone good. I'm excited thinking about the secondary, knowing that you've got Sean Murphy bunting on one side. You've got Christian Fulton in a contract year that is going to be, I think that's going to be good.
Going back home also.
So, yeah, and so much to the point that Roger McCrary is now going to spend some time inside in the slot. Oh, and Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard are still back there at the anchors.
Safety duo.
Yeah. I like all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
You're with Harold coming back, you're returning 8 of 11 starters.
Again, you got to tip the cap. I know the Jimmys and Joes matter a whole lot when it comes down to coaches being great and stuff like that. But to go into week 1, like you said, if it's the biggest lying weekend of all NFL football, I like the fact that what he's done the last couple of years, man.
And Rhett, too, on the offensive line, when you talk about the Saints team and what the Titans defense will go up against, you've got Trevor Penning making his second career start at left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. Made his first start ever at left tackle in the final game of his rookie season, stepping in for James Hurst. Now Penning going into his second season. But you've got 4 first-round picks on that line, including Andrus Peat, the veteran at guard, Cesar Ruiz, who was a first-round pick a few years ago at right guard. It does seem like, though, the Titans have an opportunity to baptize Trevor Penning in his second start and give him a rude welcome back to the starting lineup. I like the Titans' defensive line matching up with that Saints front 5.
It's a lot of young talent against some guys I just mentioned that are going to pin their ears back. No, I like the Titans checking that box in advantage side. And I'm not discrediting or discounting anything that the Saints maybe have built and are going to work on. But, yeah, I think that's a very valid point in this. I want to tell you something else that's an interesting part of this for me is the special teams part of it.
Yeah.
So the Titans have Ryan Stonehouse, who has been working on hang time and more specifically directional punting and working on things in year 2. And then they trade for Nick Folk, who by all accounts is just putting them through the uprights in practice just like he should, like you expect it to, right?
Yeah.
So you look across the opposite sideline there, and here's the Saints have gone with 2 undrafted rookies for their specialists in this. So kicker Blake Grupe beats out Will Lutz, who ends up getting traded to Denver. And one of the more intriguing stories in this whole thing is the 30-year-old Australian punter, undrafted punter, Lou Hedley. He's an Australian-style dude and got the English on the ball. They had 2 muffed punts against their opponents in the preseason, just in the last month. So that's something to keep an eye on, because here they are with a couple of guys who are largely unproven. I think that Hedley could be a weapon though for them. And again, indoors, turf, the whole thing. You start putting the parameters and the variables in this. There's all kinds of storylines that can fly in and out of this game.
But I actually brought that up in a scout meeting too, Rhett, is with also Hedley and Stonehouse both. The battle of field position is going to be crucial this weekend. Depending on how directional punting goes for Ryan Stonehouse, this is going to be very interesting watching Lou Hedley, the punter, the Australian Aussie punter who rolls out, how teams take advantage of it. Because I'd expect this. Defensively, both teams should play well. With that being said, punting and field position, taking advantage of not muffing punts. If Hedley's already had a couple happen to opposing teams this preseason, it's going to be a fascinating watch with these two. I don't think it'll ever be a boring game, but this is a war of attrition weekend for the Titans and Saints.
Yeah, and that's why I set it up, when we began the hour. These two teams mirror each other a lot with some of the storylines and the things that they've been working on coming into this season. You mentioned the Saints offensive line and the draft picks they've invested there. And in a different way, here's the Titans have kind of done a lot of the same stuff. I mean, you got an 11th overall pick out there, and then you've brought in some other guys to try to solidify this thing.
And Mike Vrabel always brings up, don't hurt yourself, right? And a part of that is special teams as well.
Don't do stupid
stuff.
To hurt the team.
Yeah. And when you look at the special teams, you look at the return game right now, Rhett, with Kyle Phillips out, Who do you anticipate kind of taking the work over for right now? Punt return, kick return. Do you think that's up for grabs here, and we'll see how it goes?
I would think, Kayla, that it would be Kearis Jackson to start.
Is that a lot for a rookie to have that?
Sure, that's a tremendous amount of pressure. I think the young man probably gained some confidence in reps that he got in the preseason, but this is the real deal now. So I think it will begin with that, and as how well he does or does not, I think will determine what happens from there on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a guy you'll see, and I wouldn't be surprised if it think about this, if it doesn't go well for him. Maybe you have Tajay Spears back there.
Yeah. You got options.
You do have options.
Yes.
I mean, you've been out to practice every day. You've seen how 4 or 5 guys they have that have been working in the return game. So
yeah,
very interesting wide receivers and both sides of this thing, Rhett, and Michael Thomas and Chris Olave, who we've spoken about. But for DeAndre Hopkins and maybe Treylon Burks, if he is healthy and ready to go for Sunday's game, how quickly can DeAndre Hopkins hit the ground running in his chemistry with Ryan Tannehill? Because everybody wants to compare the Hopkins move to the Julio Jones move, and the stark contrast so far has been DeAndre's been available to make plays in practice along with Ryan Tannehill, and I would imagine there are pretty big expectations for that duo starting week 1.
So the difference between Julio and him is the litany of injuries that one has and the others does not have as much of. I remember the Titans signed or traded for Julio. I immediately went and found his injury history, and it was from his right leg from the knee down.
Yeah.
It was 3 pages worth of stuff.
I remember having that exact conversation with you.
Small things, very small things, to some more.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of soft tissue stuff.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins can start to cement that gel with number 17 as quick as they roll out of a package and he hits him for a first down.
Yep.
Yeah.
All it takes is that first, because DeAndre Hopkins is a wily veteran.
Yeah, he is.
This is not his first rodeo at all. And it does not strike me as a person that lacks any confidence.
No.
I think he can go right out there and take those bear traps he's got for hands and just, latch onto one and move chains. And who knows, might catch somebody asleep, might get a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man.
And Treylon Burks, though, let's knock on wood. Let's do that too.
You think he's good to go? I mean, my feeling is he'll play.
I think he will. I have nothing to base that on.
Yeah.
But I think he will. And I certainly like that combination. And then you pepper in Chig Okonkwo and Nick Westbrook-Akine and Chris Moore, and you just start adding the numbers. Like, like that. Can we do some more of that? Let's do that.
Yeah, I love it. It's the kickoff right here that you're looking forward to. Handling the crowd noise, I will say that, for the OL up front, and also for that defensive line of the Titans controlling their emotions. It's the environment I can't say enough when you're going inside of a dome sometimes. That right there is the first game for the young guys. Peter Skoronski, right? This is he had, to my understanding and remembrance, he had no penalties, I feel like, this preseason, which is a good thing for a guy like himself. But the regular season, this too, everything gets a little quieter. Everybody gets a little tighter. The stakes are a little bit higher because this is one of 17 that matters. Overall records matter. Starting the season off right is a big thing. So I'm watching him this weekend and how his composure will be, and especially this too. I know Cam Jordan's a guy that will be an agitator that moves around there, and he's going to want to test him early.
I was thinking about, as you're describing that feeling, and this is for everybody on that team, but especially first-year guys and rookies. It's like going on a roller coaster. And we've all been on them, and it up to that peak point, and the regular season kickoff is right where that first drop is. And everybody's on that roller coaster ride.
I'm telling you.
Only the roller coaster lasts 18 weeks. I mean, that made me kind of think about how you could hypothetically put that in perspective.
I love it, right?
But everybody wants to ride Space Mountain.
I'm
And
telling
that one's
you.
in the dark. And that may be what it is like for some of the rookies.
Sure.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I'm excited, at the prospect of what could be in this. And while it wouldn't matter as much if they came home with an L because of you're playing out of conference, but I'd love for them to have a win for a couple of reasons. For the guys who've been in that locker room that hadn't tasted that since Thursday Night Football in Green Bay, and the other is knowing you've got a gauntlet of 5 straight AFC challenges after that point to start the season.
Absolutely. Rhett Bryan joins us Wednesdays here on RKW. You can hear him as well as Titans radio programming begins again.
Yes.
Rhett
So
Bryan.
this is the week where all of that stuff has started. So Mike Vrabel show on Monday nights right here on the Zone at 6. Mac Talk we just started last night with Coach Dave McGinnis at 6. And tonight is the season debut of Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. Myself, Mike Keith, Amy Wells, and of course, Mr. Monday Night, Keith Bullock. It'll be fun. And then next thing you know, it'll be getting on a plane Saturday afternoon and going to the Big Easy. Let's go.
Taking Big Homie to the Big Easy. I'm
That's
looking
it.
forward to that.
That's it.
That's it.
That is a valid point.
That might be doing it.
That might be doing
Rhett
it.
Bryan with us Wednesdays of the show. Thank you, Rhett, as always.
Thanks,
Thank you all.
Coming up, midweek motivation with Inky Johnson and a Duke professor who might also not be that guy. Coming up.
Hey, it's Ramon and Kayla with more about Window Nation and more from Window Nation. When it comes to new windows, Window Nation gives you more, but now they're giving you even more. Yeah, y'all like how they did that right there, huh? The more windows you buy, the more you save, up to 50% off, plus a lot more. Pay nothing for 2 full years. It's an amazing deal on the windows that deliver more for your homes. More energy savings, more value, more features, more options, more beauty, Kayla.
Yeah, I've got more information for you because guess what? You can save up to 50% with the purchase of a house of windows. That is right. So you get a new house or you want to renovate, you probably need to think about the windows because long term it's going to send you or save you, I should say, a lot of money. As interest rates and mortgage rates continue to climb, Window Nation still keeping 0% interest for 2 full years. And you might be wondering, well, if I need new windows, how am I going to know? Well, you wake up this morning and I saw a lot of condensation on some of the neighbors' windows. And I'm like thinking, you probably need new windows from Window Nation.
They do.
So go ahead and give our friends at Window Nation a call. It's simply the way to do it.
Rockin' one final segment here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We're powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, and we have got Inky Johnson coming up in seconds. A little bit of midweek motivation. Going to talk to Rhett, Bryan again on the show. Coming up tomorrow morning, Coach Dave McGinnis stops by. A new time for Coach Mac. 6:20 for Coach Dave McGinnis. We will then revisit that conversation again at 9:20 and highlight the good things that he had to say.
For the early coffee drinkers, man. Coach Mac will wake you up, baby.
And he'll keep your powder dry at the same time.
You can skip the extra caffeine at 6, and you can just listen to Mac talk football. I am trying to drink coffee starting at 8 o'clock every morning.
Why is that?
I was told that you don't crash as badly if you wait a few hours into your day to drink coffee. I don't know if I believe this is true or not, but I am a test subject. So I'm now starting with tea and then switching to coffee.
Okay.
That's fair. I get that for
Trying
sure.
to evolve.
Yeah.
We kind of had to do that today
We
because the
did.
coffee
Yeah, we kinda
almost killed us.
Man, Bert poured out whoever made the coffee that was in his cup.
What did that look like?
It was like chalky dark, like
lovely.
real bad. I see why y'all had y'all faces and mouths looking like that.
Yeah, you smelt mine.
Yeah,
that was enough to
it
tell
was
the
cheeks
story.
out here. Yeah, it was cheeks.
Woof.
Yeah, Ricky in the F&M Bank chat says you're supposed to wait 90 minutes after you wake up to have coffee.
Wow.
I figured that.
Pro tips.
Huh. Little pro tips. Also pro tips, don't overload the amount of coffee grains in the coffee filter.
So Riley Leonard, the quarterback at Duke, before we get to Inky in a minute, had this big thing about, hey, one of my professors, can you please not make me give my homework? This was to Professor Taylor. Professor Taylor had a response. This is crazy.
Professor Taylor, if you're seeing this, please let me turn in my homework late because it's due tonight, I think at 12, so it may already be 12.
Hey, Riley, great game last night, man. It was so exciting. Congratulations to you and all your teammates. But you know, Wesley Williams and the other linemen who were in the class, they said they prepared ahead and did it ahead of time, so why didn't the quarterback? So no way, man. No extension.
Yes.
Harsh.
I love it.
The guy beat Clemson. Let him get an extension on his
So
homework.
did the O-linemen, and
That's
they did their
okay.
homework.
That's cool. He had to study the game plan.
Yeah.
Had to study the
give me
game
a
plan.
break.
All linemen do is just get out there and block.
Give me a break.
I'm going to throw myself on the
Y'all
fire and say
soft.
this. He's the guy to help pay your salary, man, by being a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all I'm
The
saying.
offensive lineman did the homework.
Hey,
If
You're
they
going
lost-
against your own dudes right there.
If they lost, there's no extension, but they won.
You're right.
Going against your
You're right.
own dudes.
I am going against the grain on this one. He's supposed to let that quarterback, he's supposed to let him cook like Russ would.
No. Do your homework, bro.
Joining us on the phone lines, our guy Inky Johnson is here for midweek motivation this morning. What's up, Inky? How are you?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. Great.
Hey, I saw that interaction from Duke, right?
Yeah.
With the QB and the professor.
Yeah.
I've been there the past 2 years with Coach Elko's staff, been on campus. I believed it, man. Like, I believed the professor when he said it, even though I know he was joking, but I believed it. Like, that's the standard, right? I believed it, man.
That's crazy, Ink, man. I need some get back after shocking the world on Monday Night Football, dog.
Oh, man. They're not budging, man. They're not budging. The ball, that's just part for the coach for 'em, man.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I got a quote, man, I want to start us off with. It's a quote about leadership. Man, it says, leadership is born when toleration ends. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. When you decide I've had enough as a leader is about to be born and go to the next level. Toleration is often the graveyard for great leaders. And so I was reading a book, and it talked about growth, right? Every single day growing as a person in different areas and aspects of life. And it talked about this concept called the aggregation of marginal gain. Right, the aggregation of marginal gain, right? Getting up every single day in different areas and aspects of our lives and just looking for small ways to become better, right? Marginal ways to become better. Because oftentimes as people, what do we think? If we want massive success, it takes massive change. But that's often wrong, right? Sometimes it's just small changes, right? Changes in our behavior, changes in our language, changes in who we surround ourselves with, changes in what we're connected to. Right? The quote says it. Who we hang around is who we become. Who we're connected to determines the direction that we run. But I want you guys to remember this quote, man, as I land the plane. A lot of people say how we do anything is how we do all things. And I often like to say how we do small things is how we do all things. Do we value the details enough in terms of what we're connected to and what we do? How we do small things is how we do all things. Continue to be great. Go add value. That's my time. Peace.